Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 1 of our story. If you like this what if story and want to see part 2, let me know in the comments below. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also, check the description for more great content and my playlist. This story was posted by Spirit_Noir on Wattpad. Now, let's start. 𝐒𝐿 was a boy who just turned 4 years old, but he wasn't like the other kids. He was a lot smarter than others. He saw and heard things others couldn't because they were too far off. 𝐒𝐿 was on his way to the hospital to find out if he had a quirk and also learn what quirk he would have if he had one. Are you nervous? 𝐭𝐴 asked as she looked at 𝐒𝐿. I hope I get a cool quirk like Bakugo has. 𝐒𝐿 answered. Suddenly 𝐒𝐿 jumped out of his chair. He's coming, he said just before the doctor arrived. 𝐭𝐴 just couldn't get used to 𝐒𝐿 being able to tell someone coming before they actually arrived. 𝐒𝐿 Midoriya. It's your turn, the doctor said. 𝐒𝐿 quickly ran towards the doctor as the doctor took him to a scan. After that 𝐒𝐿 had to wait before the doctor came back as he had to examine the scans. I hope I get an awesome quirk and become a great hero, 𝐒𝐿 stated to his mother. Let's hope so, 𝐭𝐴 answered. After a while the doctor arrived. Well, I've got good and bad news, the doctor stated. The good news is, you have a quirk, the doctor stated. Awesome. What's it like? 𝐒𝐿 asked. It's called Enhance, but the bad news is, we can't seem to find what your quirk enhances specifically. Normally we can find out, but this time it's different. You'll have to learn about it as you grow, but for now, all I can say is that your quirk is Enhance, the doctor explained. After that 𝐒𝐿 and his mother went home. So 𝐒𝐿, if you compare yourself to other kids, what do you think is different between you and them? Have you noticed anything different? 𝐭𝐴 asked. That's a difficult question, but I would say everything, 𝐒𝐿 explained. Well yeah, everyone is different, but I mean like maybe your senses or body. 𝐭𝐴 asked. Mom, I already told you the answer is everything, 𝐒𝐿 stated. I can see, hear, and smell things others can't, and I'm much faster than the others. I can run longer than them as well. Mostly they start breathing pretty fast, but I don't really break a sweat, 𝐒𝐿 explained. Could it be? 𝐭𝐴 asked silently. Do you know something? 𝐒𝐿 asked. Maybe, your quirk enhances everything, your senses, your speed, your power, your body. And I already noticed you are very smart, 𝐒𝐿. What if your quirk enhances your senses and your body, as well as your IQ? 𝐭𝐴 explained. That could be the reason why he couldn't find what it enhances, she added. Wow, that would be really cool, 𝐒𝐿 stated as he jumped up in happiness. With that I might be able to become a hero, 𝐒𝐿 said happily. Time skip, 12 years. 𝐒𝐿 was now 16. And he decided he would try to get into UA's hero course. 𝐒𝐿 had trained a lot those past 12 years, his body had bulked up a bit. He also trained his scenes to the point he could actually sense people. Even if he would close his eyes, he would still be able to notice who was with him and what they did. 𝐒𝐿 also had insanely fast reflexes and was able to make judgments on the spot. 𝐒𝐿 was proud at how he had developed himself thanks to his quirk. He was standing in front of UA as Bakugo walked behind him. Good morning, Bakugo, he said before he turned around. Morning, and again, can you stop doing that? It freaks me the FCK out when you do that, Bakugo said nervously. 𝐒𝐿 answered with an innocent smile. Bakugo decided to walk in already. 𝐒𝐿 decided to calm his nerves down a little, but the moment he wanted to take a step he tripped. Everything enhanced, and still tripping over my own feet. Please just kill me right now, 𝐒𝐿 thought, but then something grabbed around him. 𝐒𝐿 looked and saw a tentacle had grabbed around him. Glad I noticed it in time. It would be pretty bad if you tripped and fell on the day of the entrance exam, a boy with black hair said as he looked a bit shy. Good job, Tamaki, I hadn't even seen it, a blonde guy with a cartoonish face said. Thanks for catching me, you really saved me there, 𝐒� stated nervously. It's alright, Tamaki said as he turned around. Don't mind him, he's a little shy around new people, the blonde said. Well, good luck on your exam, he said before he walked off. 𝐒� then decided to walk inside. He took a seat and noticed he unconsciously sat beside Bakugo. They learned that they were in different areas for their exam and that points could be gotten by destroying robots, They were divided in 4 sorts of robots from 0 to after that they walked towards the area where the exam would be held. 𝐒𝐿 took close attention towards his surroundings as he already knew where the robots were. Suddenly the door opened up as MIC shouted to start. 𝐒𝐿 ran inside at high speed as he quickly ran towards the biggest group of robots as he noticed there were 5 3-pointers. 𝐒𝐿 quickly destroyed one as he then avoided a hit from the back. He heel kicked the robot as he blocked a punch from another robot. 𝐒𝐿 grabbed the robot's fist, pulled him closer and destroyed it. There were only 2 left. The teachers already had their eyes on him. Not only was he moving with incredible speed and skill, he also found a group of robots immediately after entering the exam. The teachers were amazed how he was fighting those robots with his bare hands. Suddenly 𝐒𝐿 disappeared from the screen as he appeared again by kicking a robot's head off. He then used that robot as a jumping board to launch himself towards the next robot. After that 𝐒𝐿 felt someone surrounded between multiple robots. He quickly made his way there as he then jumped in front of the person on the ground. He was just in time as 3 of the robots attacked as once. 𝐒𝐿 blocked all 3 of the robots with just one arm as he gave a powerful kick that went through all 3 of them. "Are you alright?" 𝐒𝐿 asked. "Yes, thank you. My speed is my quirk, but as you can see, it can also backfire as I can't respond to when I fall," the long man with black hair said. "Thank you for saving me back there. My name is 𝐒𝐻𝐻, the man said. "Don't worry about it. I'm 𝐒𝐿 Midoriya," 𝐒𝐿 answered as he held out his hand to shake Ida's hand. "Let's go, the exam is still going on. We can talk after the exam," Ida stated. After that they both separated. 𝐒𝐿 then found another big group of robots as he made quirk work of them. Suddenly 𝐒𝐿 heard rumbles as he ran towards the sound. 𝐒𝐿 then arrived at a large group of people as suddenly a giant robot showed up as buildings exploded and collapsed. Everyone started running away, most out of fear, others because it was just a 0-pointer. However 𝐒𝐿 stayed as he suddenly heard someone groan in pain. As he looked he saw a girl on the ground as her leg was stuck between debris. 𝐒𝐿 quickly ran towards her, but just as he arrived, the robot started to attack as he threw a punch towards them. 𝐒𝐿 blocked the punch with his arms as the force of the impact broke the ground beneath him. The girl was amazed that 𝐒� blocked that, then he suddenly pushed the robot back as he then quickly pulled the debris off her leg. "Are you alright?" he asked. "I think so, but my leg is broken," she stated. 𝐒� then lifted her bridal style as he quickly jumped away before another attack reached them. He dodged that attack without even looking. Amazing, she thought. "I'll place you here for a bit. I'll be right back," 𝐒� stated as he ran towards the robot. 𝐒� then quickly ran towards 2 buildings still intact as he jumped between them to gain more height. Once he reached the roof he quickly jumped towards the robot. The robot tried to grab him, but 𝐒� moved quickly as he used the robot's fingers to push himself up a little so he wouldn't be caught. He then ran towards the head. He jumped towards it and gave a powerful punch as the robot shot back with a heavy force as it also exploded. 𝐒� then landed on the floor as he slowly walked back to the girl. Behind him the robot was slowly exploding as explosions were seen at multiple spots around the robot before it completely blew up. "Are you okay? Not hurt or anything apart from your leg?" 𝐒� asked as he kneeled down on one knee. "No, I'm alright, but you really are amazing. What was that power and speed you used there?" the girl asked. "Well, it's only thanks to my quirk," 𝐒� stated. No one knew 𝐒� had actually held back as he could have easily made a straight jump towards the head and destroyed it easily. He lifted the girl again as he walked her out of the training ground. "Let's get you some medical attention," 𝐒� said as a small woman showed up. "Could you be the nurse?" 𝐒� asked. "Indeed I am. Is she hurt?" she asked. "Yes, she broke her leg earlier, then the 0-pointer showed up. Apart from the leg she's alright," 𝐒� explained. "I see," the woman answered as he mouth extended towards the girl as she kissed her on the head. She then slowly started to heal. "Might you be recovery girl? I've heard about the nurse at UA and that her quirk lets her fasten the healing of people, but I've never seen it actually," 𝐒� stated. "Yes, I am. You sure know a lot about us, but are you sure you should be standing around here? Shouldn't you be getting points?" Recovery girl asked. Her safety has priority, leaving someone there wounded like that just for his own gain. "Well, that isn't something someone who wants to become a hero should do," 𝐒� stated. Well, you are totally right about that. Sadly, we see it happen every year. We also see a lot of people who got hurt. I don't know if people are just being reckless or if the exam just got harder, she explained. Sorry to interrupt you too, but I think you can put me down now, the girl said as she blushed. Oh, sorry, Izuku said as he placed her down gently. Thanks for your help. My name is Ochiko Uraraka, the girl stated. Not a problem. I'm Izuku Midoriya, he answered with a smile. Time's up. MIC shouted for everyone to hear. Oh no, because of me you couldn't get any more points. I'm so sorry, she stated nervously. It's alright. Like I said before, helping someone in need has more priority than gaining points, Izuku answered. I destroyed some robots, maybe I'm lucky enough to make enough points, and otherwise, well then I'm just glad I managed to save someone, Izuku stated before he had to go. Izuku walked towards the gate as he quickly noticed some white cloth coming at him from behind as he dodged it without looking. Nice try, Izuku said as he knew he was being tested. He then turned around and saw someone covered in black with a white cloth around his neck. On his shoulder sat a small creature. It looked like a bear or a mouse. Izuku just couldn't quite make out what it was. He did notice that they were both smiling at him. Izuku was smiling back before he nodded and walked off. After a while of walking, "So Bakugo, how did you do?" he asked before Bakugo fully reached him. "It still freaks me out how you keep doing that, but I did well. What about you?" Bakugo stated. "I think I did pretty good as well," he answered. "Well, with that quirk of yours it wouldn't surprise me if you got accepted to UA," Bakugo stated. "Right back at ya," Izuku answered. They both walked home part of the way before Izuku had to take a different turn. Izuku got home and immediately told his mom how the exam went, how he found and destroyed a big number of robots, and how he saved 2 people. Although he left out the part of being tested. "War, Izuku, hearing you now, you really did great out there. I'm sure you got acpeated," Inko said with a bright smile. "I'm so proud of you. My little boy is growing to be a man," she said as she hugged him. A few weeks have passed since the entrance exam. Izuku received his letter from UA. "Everything is fine. Why? Because I am here." The screen opened as All Might showed up. "Good day, Izuku Midoriya. Starting this year, I will be one of the teachers of UA. I also was one of the judges that were watching, and I must say I was really impressed by your display of power, speed, skill, and judgment. It's the first time anyone acted like you did in the entrance exam, and you took the interest of quite a few teachers, including myself," All Might explained. Suddenly someone showed up at the screen. "What? I have to wrap things up. But I wanted to tell him more," All Might said to the person. "Fine then, we'll have to continue this talk some other time. Now the reason for the letter, you are wondering if you got accepted, right?" All Might asked. "I'm happy to announce that you gained 75 points and gained enough points to be accepted to UA. But there is more." Right after the exam, a girl showed up. She told everyone that she wanted to give you some points because she felt responsible that you weren't able to gain any more points, and she was afraid you didn't have enough point to be accepted. Not only did you gain enough points, you also saved 2 people in need, and you inspired people. UA could never deny anyone like that. You have gained 75 points from destroying those robots, but giving up your time and saving 2 people also gives you additional rescue points, which will give you 100 points, ending you with 175 points. All Might explained. "Wow, that many," Izuku stated. "I welcome you, Izuku Midoriya, to your Hero Academia." All Might then explained that from there on out, Izuku would be living together with his classmates in dorms only a few minutes away from the school, and the first school day would be in just 1 week. After that the video ended and Izuku ran downstairs to tell his mom the news. They both were happy beyond words. Inko even made Izuku's favorite food to celebrate, katsudon. After that Izuku called Bakugo to tell him he got accepted and heard that Bakugo also was accepted. "We'll see each other at UA then," Izuku stated before he hung up. The week passed quickly and the first school day arrived. Once they all arrived, they were first shown to the dorm as they all got a map with the layout of the dorm, as well as the room orders. Rooms and seats will be same as the anime. Izuku placed his stuff in his room as he decided he would unpack after school. For now he decided to go to his class. Once he arrived at his class he heard people argue, and he didn't even need to think to know it would definitely be Bakugo. Izuku opened the door only to confirm what he knew. Bakugo had his feet on the table as Ida was lecturing him. Izuku, someone shouted behind Izuku. Izuku was caught off guard though as he hadn't really paid attention. Hey Uraraka, how is your leg? Izuku asked. My leg is fine, thanks again for bringing me to Recovery Girl. Uraraka said. Don't mention it, but let's go sit down, I think the teacher wants to start, Izuku said as he pointed behind her towards the ground. Uraraka looked and saw a man laying on the floor in a sleeping bag. Glad you noticed it, that saves me some time, the man said as he got up while everyone took their seats. Already, I'm your homeroom teacher, shouted Aizawa. Now everyone grab your PE uniforms and meet me outside, Aizawa said as he walked out. That's weird, wouldn't we need to introduce ourselves as well? Uraraka asked. This is UA, we teachers can do as we please and teach you how we see fit, you can introduce yourselves after class or back at the dorm. Now come, Aizawa stated as he walked off. Everyone quickly changed. So right now, I will be testing you all, I want to see how you all handle your quirks, and to see if you have any potential in becoming heroes. Aizawa stated. Bakugo, come here for a sec, Aizawa said as he gave Bakugo a ball when he walked up. How far did you throw it at junior high? He asked. Around 79 meters, Bakugo stated. Alright, throw it, but this time use your quirk, he stated. Anything goes as long as you stay in the circle, he then added. Die! Bakugo shouted as he threw the ball. Aizawa then looked at the tracker and showed the distance, which was 735 meters. This is actually kind of fun, a girl looking like an alien said. Fun? We aren't here to make fun, but since you think this is fun, the person in last place will be considered someone without any potential to be a hero and will be expelled, Aizawa stated. This shocked everyone, except for Bakugo, who didn't really care if they got expelled, and Izuku. The tests were progressing nicely. Izuku managed to grab first place with everything so far, but now was the ball throw. He knew he couldn't become first place as Uraraka managed to get in fint because of her quirk. Izuku grabbed the ball and made a throwing movement but held the ball as he looked towards Aizawa. Why aren't you throwing? Aizawa asked. Because I noticed you tried to do something, Izuku stated. Correct, I tried erasing your quirk. Aizawa stated. Why would you want to do that? Izuku asked. I noticed back at the entrance against the 0-pointer, you were holding back, weren't you? Aizawa asked. Is he for real? Uraraka shouted as she witnessed Izuku's power firsthand as she had a first-row seat when he displayed his power. Izuku just nodded. Show me your true power, Aizawa stated. Alright, I will. Also, I don't think erasing my quirk will even work, but you can try it. I don't know if it can be erased actually, Izuku stated as he took a throwing stance. Aizawa then used his quirk as Izuku threw the ball. But the force which formed around the ball as it was thrown showed that Aizawa's erasing had no effect. Aizawa looked at the tracker as it showed 2,479 meters. So tell me, why didn't my erasing work? Aizawa asked. I think it's because my quirk enhance isn't really a quirk I can activate. To be honest, I never really activated it and I have never been able to turn it off. My quirk enhances my senses, as well as my body and IQ, but to gain all this I really had to train a lot of years, Izuku stated. So the power and speed you have right now is naturally gained? Aizawa asked. Yes and no, yes I trained for it, but if I didn't have this quirk then I would have never been able to get this power, Izuku stated. I see, that's good to know, Aizawa stated. Tell me one more thing, Aizawa said. After the entrance exam, I used my binding cloth, but without making any noise or showing myself, you managed to dodge it without even looking. How did you do that? Aizawa asked. I train my senses to the point I can sense things and people around me. It's a combination of senses, smell, sound, feeling. If my eyes are open then I can just feel it, but if I close my eyes it's like I see a map in my head with figures, Izuku explained. Aizawa was actually impressed to hear this. After that the tests continued and someone named Mineta, or Diaper Boy, as Bakugo would call him, was last. Oh yeah, and I lied about the expelling part, Aizawa stated. They were all shocked again except for Izuku and Bakugo. Wait, why aren't the two of you shocked? Uraraka asked Izuku and Bakugo. I noticed that Aizawa told us that so we would give it our all. Bakugo on the other hand just doesn't care, Izuku explained. Bakugo just started grinning. So true, he said. Alright everyone, class is over for today. Izuku, could you stay for a bit? Aizawa said. I have to ask you something. Aizawa said. Sure, Izuku answered as everyone walked off. Follow me, Aizawa then said as he walked back into the school. Suddenly he was in front of the class for 3 years as he knocked on the door. Wait here for just a sec, Aizawa said as he walked inside. After a bit Aizawa returned with 2 people by his side. It's you guys. Izuku said happily. Hey, it's you. So you made it in. The blonde said. So you already know each other? Aizawa asked. Well, Tamaki here saved him from falling after tripping over something. We had a small chat but nothing more really, the blonde explained. I never introduced myself back then. My name is Mirio Tagata, and this is Tamaki Amagiki, Mirio stated. I'm Izuku Midoriya, nice to meet you, Izuku answered. Alright, now that that's out of the way, that brings me back to why I asked you to come, Aizawa said towards Izuku. I want to request your help for a mission. Aizawa said. My help for a mission? What's this about all of a sudden? Izuku asked. Yeah, Aizawa, what is this about? No offense, but he only started here just today, Mirio stated. Exactly, I only just started here, Izuku added in. Calm down, I'll explain it, Aizawa said. I was planning on asking you from the moment I saw you at the entrance exam and heard that you were being accepted into UIT. I wanted to say we needed your quirk, but now that I know it's not really your quirk but you yourself, we really need you for this mission, Aizawa explained. What do you mean, Aizawa? Tamaki asked. I think I understand, Izuku stated. What is your power or quirk then? Mirio asked. My quirk is enhance. At first we thought it was just a part, but my quirk enhances everything, from my body to my senses. It trained it so I can sense my surroundings. If my eyes are open I can feel it, but when I close my eyes I can see everything in my head. I can see, hear or feel things normally people can't. I can also see further than others. As for my body, I had to train my body to gain amazing power and speed. But now that I gained it, it's not really related to my quirk, so even though Aizawa erased it, I can still use it, even though I could only gain my power because of my quirk, Izuku explained. It's true, that is a very useful power, Mirio said as he placed his hand to his chin. Does that also mean your internal organs are enhanced? Tamaki asked. Yeah, my lung capacity is much bigger than others, and I actually never even got ill before in my life. Also my enhance also increased heat tolerance and cold resistance, Izuku added in. Man, that's really awesome. Mirio stated with a smile. So, what's this mission about? Izuku asked. So you accept? Aizawa asked. Is that even a question? I was just surprised at first that I was being asked on my first day at school, but if I can help someone with my power, then I'll gladly do it no matter what it is, Izuku explained. Alright then, follow me. I'll explain the mission once we go to a secure place. There have been rumors about a traitor in UA and I don't want anyone catching wind of this, Aizawa explained as they walked towards the principal's office. Good day, so I see you accepted Aizawa's offer, Izuku Nezu said. Good morning, sir. I did. If my power can help someone then I'll gladly help. Izuku stated with a smile. That's good to know, and I'm glad you are willing to help, but I do have to warn you upfront, it's a very dangerous mission. There is no guarantee that we can avoid a confrontation, Nezu stated. So it's a rescue mission? Izuku asked. It is. You see, Tamaki and I are part of the big 3, the top of UA, but the other person in the top 3 was kidnapped. We have tried to get close to her to save her. We managed to barely escape as they wanted to capture us as well while using her as bait. Her name is Nejiya Heido, and hearing your power, Aizawa is right. We really need your help, Mirio explained. Alright, but first, explain this to me. How come the top of UA can't do this while asking a first year on his first day? Izuku asked. Well, there are 2 factors that play in that, Tamaki said. First, it's because the enemy is very silent and only makes little to no noise at all, so it's hard for us to notice them, and the second factor, it's because of their strength. They don't speak and are very strange. They have a big black body, but all of them have a different head, but all of them have the brains sticking out of their head. Once one of them notices us it makes a weird yelling sound. Once this happened all the others joined the yelling one. But their strength isn't something to take lightly. but with your power you can sense them and avoid them. If I heard correct about your speed and power, you could probably also move fast enough to get away and team before they notice you, 𝐼𝐻𝐼 explained. I see, so that's what we are up against, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 said as he placed his head to his chin thinking. Now that you know, I want to ask you, please, help us save her, 𝐼𝐻𝐼 said as he and Tamaki bowed towards 𝐒𝐿𝐼. Please raise your heads, I already told you I would help, this isn't going to scare me off. 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated determined. But there are some things that have to be done if I do this, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated. Alright, what is it? Aizawa asked. First we need a communicator, that way if anything happens I can reach you, or if I notice something I can warn you, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 explained. Alright, is there more? Aizawa asked. I want you guys to stand on standby. If I rescue her and things take a turn I will need you guys to take her away. I'll take their attention until you guys get away, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 explained. Are you sure? They are very powerful and they're also pretty fast, Tamaki stated. Don't worry, even if they come after me once I rescued her, I can still keep her safe, but to be able to defend and fight back I need you guys to take her away once I saved her. I hope it doesn't come to that, but those are my requests if we are doing this, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 explained. 𝐼𝐻𝐼 and Tamaki looked towards Aizawa. Alright then, but you have to promise you'll come back to us safely. I'd hate to ask for your help on your first day just for you to die in a rescue mission, Aizawa stated. Don't worry, if I have confidence in something, then it's my speed, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated. Everyone nodded. So when are we doing this? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. Tonight, 𝐼𝐻𝐼 stated. If it's at night time, it's harder for them to see us as well, and you would have the advantage as you can sense them, Aizawa explained. We'll gather at the front gate for UA at 8 p.m., he added. And I'll explain everything to you class tomorrow, he quickly added looking at 𝐒𝐿𝐼. Our class already knows about it, Tamaki said. Alright, 𝐒𝐿𝐼, what do I say if they ask me where I'm going? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. Just tell them I asked you to meet me, I'll explain them everything tomorrow, Aizawa explained. After that they were allowed to leave, but since school was over by now, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 decided to spend some time with 𝐼𝐻𝐼 and Tamaki to get to know them better and just talk a bit. So what are your quirks? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. I can turn in everything I have eaten that day. The day of the entrance exam I ate sushi, so that's why I was able to use tentacles to catch you before you fell, Tamaki stated. My quirk is permeation, I can pass through everything, but at the same time it's also very dangerous. My eyes don't see any light and my lungs don't get any air when I'm in that state, 𝐼𝐻𝐼 explained. Those are some nice quirks, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated. I bet you must have worked hard to emphasize your quirk, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated towards 𝐼𝐻𝐼 as he proudly nodded. Once this is over, and I've built up some more experience, I want to spar with you guys, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated as he held out his fist. Sure, we'll be ready, 𝐼𝐻𝐼 said as he and Tamaki fist bumped with 𝐒𝐿𝐼 at the same time. Is there anything you still want to know about me? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. Yeah, you said your quirk enhance also enhances your body, right? Does it also make your skin thicker? 𝐼𝐻𝐼 asked. Yeah, I was once blasted with a friend of mine his quirk by accident. It happened earlier with someone else, he was covered in BLD and cuts, but I was unharmed by it, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 explained. That's awesome. 𝐼𝐻𝐼 explained. Well, we've got to go for now, we'll see you tonight. 𝐼𝐻𝐼 said as they walked off. 𝐒𝐿𝐼 slowly walked towards the dorm. He still had to unpack, and it would be nice to get to know his class a bit better too. Once he got at his dorm he noticed that no one was in the common area. He figured everyone would still be unpacking, so he walked towards his room and did the same. Once he was done unpacking he walked downstairs as he noticed everyone now sitting around the common area. Hey 𝐒𝐿𝐼, join us. You are the last to arrive, we can do an introducing round. Uraraka said. 𝐒𝐿𝐼 then joined them as he introduced himself first. After that everyone else introduced themselves. Afterwards they decided to order pizza for dinner. After dinner 𝐒𝐿𝐼 noticed it was almost 8 p.m. Well guys, I have to go. Have a good night, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated as he walked towards the front gate. Where are you going? Uraraka asked curiously. Aizawa asked me to meet him. Apparently he and 𝐒𝐻𝐼 wanted to know more about my powers as Aizawa wasn't able to erase it this morning, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 he lied. They did ask him questions about his power, but it wasn't the reason he was going. Alright, well, have a good night. She said with a smile before he left as quickly used his power and reached the front gate with a burst of speed. Izuku arrived just behind Aizawa. Wow, Mirio said as he was surprised by Izuku's sudden arrival. Was that your full speed? Aizawa asked. I can still go a bit faster, but this was enough to get here in time, Izuku smiled innocently. With speed like that I'm wondering what kind of monster you are, at full power and speed, Aizawa stated. Let's just hope you don't have to find out, Izuku said. Alright, are you all ready? Aizawa asked as they all nodded. Good luck, I'll be hoping on a save rescue mission and that you'll be able to rescue poor Nejaya, Nezu said as he walked up to them. Going on a rescue mission, eh? And even on your first day, they head, as they looked they saw Bakugo. Hey Bakugo, what's up? He asked. I noticed you were acting differently before you left, so I decided to follow you. Why lie about where you are going? Bakugo asked. I'll promise to explain everything tomorrow, Aizawa said. I asked Izuku to help us in a mission to rescue someone since his power could most likely be the key to the rescue, Aizawa explained. I see, well, good luck Izuku, don't you dare kicking the bucket. I've still got to beat you at your best and reach the #1 spot before you do. Bakugo stated as he walked away. Izuku just smiled. Strange way to say good luck, Tamaki said as Bakugo was now gone. That's just Bakugo, he's always like that, he doesn't really accept anyone's power, he thinks as everyone as just extras, stepping stones before reaching the top, he is way too overconfident but he has real skill. But so far I'm the only one he really accepts as his rival, Izuku explained with a smile. I'll put him in place sometime when we spar, Izuku then said as they started laughing. Well, let's go, Aizawa stated as he ran towards the dark streets. Izuku, Mirio, and Tamaki quickly followed him. First they had to take a train towards another city. Izuku has never been there before so he had no idea where he was. He did know they were in the train for several hours. Before I forget, Nezu managed to get us these, Aizawa said as he gave Izuku, Mirio, and Tamaki communicators for in their ear. Why did you get one for all of us? Mirio asked. If we happen to get separated, and this way all of can hear what the other is saying, Aizawa explained. After a while they reached the warehouse where Nejaya would be held, but it was a very big building. So this is where you infiltrated to rescue her? Izuku asked silently as they nodded. How far did you get? Izuku asked. Not even halfway, Tamaki said as they looked silently. How long has she been held here? He then asked. A few weeks, close to a month now, Mirio explained. I see, today we'll get her back, Izuku stated confidently as he just casually walked up towards the building. Izuku made his ear communicator very sensitive to sound from around, so they could catch up the sounds around Izuku, that way they could follow what was happening even if it was a little. Izuku managed to sneak in but the communicator kept silent. Either the communicator isn't working, or Izuku is making almost no sound at all even with walking, Tamaki stated. It is working, Izuku stated as he sounded like he was in a rush. Everything all right? You sound like you are rushing but we don't hear a thing, Mirio asked. Suddenly they heard a small tick as they heard like a small groaning sound or something like a small growl. After a little bit that sound vanished. So for the late response, there was one of those creatures you said, and I'm already halfway through, since I can sense them I can pretty much run around if I'm silent enough, Izuku explained. Amazing, he managed to get halfway through in a matter of a few minutes. It took us so long to reach halfway after that we got found out, Mirio stated. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to ask you to stay silent for a while. On the way here I only felt 2 walking around, but at this last part one can sense at least 4 more, Izuku explained. Izuku was hiding behind a wall as he sensed around him. I can sense she's still alive and breathing, but it sounds and feels very weak. I can't fail now, if I do then she might not make it until a next attempt, Izuku thought. He silently ran towards the door in a straight line as he noticed the left an opening. Izuku opened the door as silently as he could. Once he got inside he concentrated as best as he could to sense his surroundings and didn't notice any strange movements in the creatures, their movements. Izuku then walked towards the middle of the room. It was very dark so he could barely see. He noticed to see her once he came close to her. Might you be Nejaya? Izuku silently asked. I am, but who are you? Izuku heard her weak response. I'm Izuku Midoriya. I just entered UA and was asked to help in your rescue, Izuku answered kindly. Why would you do that? You don't even know me, and it's very dangerous here, she said. It's a hero's job to save those in need, isn't it? 𝐒𝐿 said. Well, you aren't a hero yet, you told me you just entered 𝐒𝐿, so you are still in training, which means you didn't have to accept this, so why do this, she asked. Well, if you put it like that, honestly I don't know, I just had a feeling that I had to do this, 𝐒𝐿 answered. She has a point, still I'm glad you accepted to help us, 𝐒𝐿 Mirio said in his ear. Guys, I want you to be ready for anything, 𝐒𝐿 stated. Who are you talking to, she asked silently. Mirio, Tamaki, and Aizawa are here too, they asked me for help when they learned about my power, 𝐒𝐿 stated. What's your power like? Is it from your quirk? What's your quirk's name? What does it do? Are you strong? 𝐒𝐻𝐼a asked silently as with every question her voice got weaker and weaker. Let's hang out once you recover a bit, for now save your strength, just leave it to me, I'll protect you with everything I've got, 𝐒𝐿 said to her. Somehow his voice and his words put her at ease, she felt herself heat up when he told her to hang out once she recovered. Why is he having such an impact on me? Why am I even blushing? I can't see him but his voice, it's so gentle and warm, she thought. 𝐒𝐿 then noticed she was tied up with ropes as he slowly got her free. How did you get here anyways? It's so dark I can't see a thing and somehow you move around like you don't even notice a difference. 𝐻𝐼a asked. I'll explain it all once you are recovered, for now hang on tight, and not matter what happens don't let go, 𝐒𝐿 stated as he pulled her on his back. Once she placed her arms around him and felt his back against her chest, she heated up even more as she started blushing madly. Why is he doing this to me? He makes me blush so bad and I don't even know why, she thought in her head. Suddenly the lights shot on as an alarm rang. Damn it, the alarm and lights were set to activate once someone freed 𝐻𝐼a, 𝐒𝐿 stated. Guys, get ready and meet me halfway, 𝐒𝐿 said as he busted the door down. 𝐻𝐼a could now see his face. He looks cute and seems so gentle, I hope I recover soon so I can see him again when I get back. He told me he would explain everything once I was recovered and I'm going to hold him to that, she thought as she smiled and placed her head in his neck. Sorry 𝐻𝐼a, this is going to get a bit rough, hold on tight, 𝐒� said as he quickly bursted out of the room. He managed to get past two of the creatures but two others already noticed him as they were about to attack, but 𝐒� managed to dodge. 𝐒� then jumped towards the wall and zigzagged through the building. 𝐒� then saw Mirio, Tamaki, and Aizawa running up to him. At the moment 𝐒� landed on the ground and ran towards him, a fist appeared next to his face as he just barely dodged it and kicked the creature away. That was close, 𝐒� said. He quickly ran towards Aizawa, Mirio, and Tamaki. Take her out of here, 𝐒� stated. No wait, what about you, 𝐻𝐼a asked. This was part of the deal when I accepted this mission, they would get you out of here and I would make sure you guys escaped. Don't worry, I'll be fine, 𝐒� said with a smile. Aizawa nodded. Let's go, he said as he ran in front with 𝐻𝐼a on his back. He decided he should carry her as Mirio and Tamaki's quirk could be needed if they were to face someone. 𝐒� noticed the creatures coming but they passed right by him instead of attacking him. SHT, they are ordered to attack her if she escapes, 𝐒� thought. Slowly the creatures were closing in on them as one managed to charge past Tamaki and Mirio and was about to strike 𝐻𝐼a. They both weren't fast enough to react, but right as they looked at the creature, they saw 𝐒� in front of it as he punched it in the face. He attacked all the creatures that got close, they then suddenly focused on 𝐒�. I see, they are ordered to attack 𝐻𝐼a if she escaped, but they are also ordered to deal with someone that resisted or tried protecting her, 𝐒� thought. Just continue out, 𝐒� said silently as he knew they would hear him from the communicator. Get her out no matter what, she is weakened too much, if they get her back from us, or if we fail here, then there won't be a next time to try, 𝐒� explained. This actually scared the three that ran away. Don't worry, I don't plan on letting them get past me, 𝐒� then said. Just make sure you get out alive, you promised me to hang out if I recovered, and I can't have you break your promise, so don't you dare die, 𝐻𝐼a said in Aizawa's ear where he had his communicator as she heard him speak. 𝐒� smiled as he then attacked. He volley kicked someone in the face as he then quickly managed to dodge a punch by pushing himself up from the creature's arm. As 𝐒� was landing, he kneed the creature in the face. He felt another one coming in for an attack as he grabbed the creature's arm as he gave powerful blow to the chest, then spinned 180 degrees and kicked it in the stomach. As the creature was sent flying, he crashed into a stone pillar. 3 down, 3 to go, 𝐒𝐿 said. Amazing, we had such a hard time against them, but his beating them, he heard Tamaki say in his ear. If I couldn't sense them, then I wouldn't stand a chance either. They attack from the blind spots and fight together, 𝐒𝐿 explained. Of the creatures suddenly attacked from the sides, 𝐒𝐿 blocked them as he then countered the 3 touch by kicking its fist away, and while spinning he threw a kick to the face. He then quickly charged towards the other 2 as he kicked one of them with his head through the roof, then he punched the other stuck into the ground. Well, that takes care of it, 𝐒𝐿 said as he was then hit by something. 𝐒𝐿, are you alright? Myheroa shouted. Yeah, but I might have a problem, 𝐒𝐿 stated. What happened? Aizawa asked. When I reached you guys, one of them attacked me. I kicked him out of the building and launched him pretty far away. He arrived here in just a matter of seconds. He caught me off guard as he never would have thought anyone else moving at such a speed, 𝐒𝐿 explained. The problem isn't that I can't beat him now, but more that if I do, this building will collapse and both this thing and I will take some heavy damage, 𝐒𝐿 explained. How are you so sure about that? Tamaki asked. Because as I've been talking, I've been trying to get away from him with the speed I used to arrive at UA's front gate earlier, 𝐒𝐿 stated. And? Tamaki asked. He's keeping up with me and even finding the time to try and attack me, 𝐒𝐿 said as they were shocked to hear. Couldn't you go faster though? Aizawa asked. I can, but this place is too cramped. All to I use it for small movements. The ceiling is too low and there are a lot of stone pillars here, 𝐒𝐿 explained. Just keep going for now, 𝐒𝐿 said as he tried to speed up a bit but almost crashed into a stone pillar. Afterwards he was barely able to dodge the creature from attacking him. If I was just in an open spot I could easily outrun him, he said. Suddenly the other creatures were getting up. Not good, 𝐒𝐿 said as he gritted his teeth and took a step back. How far out are you guys? 𝐒𝐿 asked silently. We just got out. How are things at your end? Myheroa asked. Not good, I'm having trouble with this big one, but the others just got up as well, 𝐒𝐿 explained as they went pale. Myheroa, Tamaki, I'm coming towards you guys, meet me halfway. Aizawa, please hide somewhere with 𝐒𝐽, 𝐒𝐿 said. Alright, they all said in unison. Do you have a plan? Tamaki asked as 𝐒� tried to get back while dodging attacks. Can you use those tentacles? 𝐒� asked. I can. Why? Tamaki asked. Once I arrive, quickly grab the big one with your tentacles. Myheroa, in the meantime, charge at it with everything you've got. I'll do the same. Tamaki, let go of him the moment we are about to hit him. After that I want Tamaki to get in the middle of the way between us and the door. I'll grab him and create some distance between us and them. Myheroa, wait at the last stone pillar for us with your quirk. We'll destroy those pillars to make the building collapse there so we can escape, 𝐒� said as he explained the plan. At that moment he just barely dodged the creature's big fist as he saw Myheroa and Tamaki coming towards him. 𝐒� quickly jumped towards a stone pillar. Now, he shouted as Tamaki then shot his tentacles at the creature, grabbing its arms. At that time 𝐒� and Myheroa charged at it with a lot of force. 𝐒� kicked the creature but stayed at its chest as it was sent flying. He then used the creature's chest as springboard as he quickly launched himself towards the door as he grabbed Tamaki. While flying towards the door because of the force, 𝐒� quickly spinned around as he kicked through the stone pillar as Myheroa destroyed the other one at the same time. 𝐒� and Tamaki flew outside as they landed on their backs and rolled over the ground while Myheroa appeared out of the ground. Aizawa? 𝐒� asked. Yeah, I'm here, he said as he showed up with 𝐒𝐽. Alright, I'll take 𝐒𝐽. Let's go, 𝐒� said as he took 𝐒𝐽 over from Aizawa. They quickly made their way back to UA and brought 𝐒𝐽 to Recovery Girl as fast as they could. Nezu was already waiting at her office. Thank God you managed to get her back, Nezu said as 𝐒� placed 𝐒𝐽 on a bed. Yeah, but we barely made it, 𝐒� stated. What do you mean? Nezu asked as 𝐒� then explained what happened inside. I see, we'll definitely have to report this. For now I'm just glad she made it out, Nezu said. I'm glad I got to help. If I hadn't and this rescue would fail, then she would have died for sure. She was so weak when I found her, it was a shock that she was even awake, 𝐒� stated. Thank you, 𝐒�. For all your help, 𝐒𝐻𝐻 said as he bowed his head. He then saw Mirio and Tamaki do the same. You only got here today and you already helped us a lot by saving poor 𝐒𝐻𝐻 from there. I can't thank you enough, 𝐒𝐻𝐻 said. Don't worry about it, I'm glad I could help, 𝐒𝐿 said. Then 𝐒𝐻𝐻 opened her eyes again as Recovery Girl was treating her. You came back safely, she said. Well yeah, I promised you I would be alright, didn't I? And I can't go breaking a promise like that, 𝐒𝐿 said as he smiled. You promised me we would hang out and talk, right? She asked. Recovery Girl wanted to tell her to stop talking and rest as she really needed it. 𝐒𝐿 noticed this and quickly responded. We will. For now you should just take a rest. I won't be going anywhere. I just joined UA, so I will be spending a lot of time here. Once you are recovered we'll talk, 𝐒𝐿 said with a smile. 𝐒𝐻𝐻 smiled back as she then fell asleep. I'm glad we managed to save her in time, 𝐒𝐿 said as he looked towards 𝐒𝐿. He noticed him smiling towards him, but his face had suddenly turned serious. Principal 𝐒𝐻𝐻, can I ask you something? 𝐒𝐿 asked. Yes, what is it? 𝐒𝐻𝐻 asked. All Might is a teacher here, right? He asked. He is, but why do you ask? 𝐒𝐻𝐻 asked. I want to have a fight with All Might. You want to fight All Might? Everyone but 𝐒𝐻𝐻 shouted. That's right, 𝐒𝐿 stated bluntly. May I ask why you want this all of a sudden? 𝐒𝐻𝐻 asked. For reasons I cannot explain now, 𝐒𝐿 stated. They didn't understand what he meant. Well, you helped us with this mission, so the least we can do is allow it. I'll ask All Might tomorrow, 𝐒𝐻𝐻 said. Thank you, sir, 𝐒𝐿 said as they saw him thinking. Well, 𝐒𝐻𝐻, take a good rest. I'll see you again, 𝐒𝐿 said before he walked off. Thank you, she said before he was gone. 𝐒𝐿 heard this and smiled at her. You don't have to thank me, I'd do it again, he said as he then walked away, leaving a smile on her face. 𝐒𝐿 then walked back to his dorm. Tomorrow I can confirm it for myself, he thought as he reached the dorm and went to bed. He still had a few hours before class would start, so he quickly headed to bed. The next morning they were amazed that 𝐒𝐿 was up so early, as not even the people that stayed up till 11 p.m. had seen him come back home. They were just happy he was back safe and sound. However, Bakugo noticed something was up, but decided not to say anything. Everyone, except for 𝐒𝐿, went to class. 𝐒𝐿 decided to see how 𝐒𝐻𝐻 was doing at the nursery. Good morning, Recovery Girl, 𝐒𝐿 said cheerfully. Good morning, child. Is anything wrong? She asked. No, I just came to look how 𝐒𝐻𝐻 was doing, but she's sleeping, so I'll be going now, 𝐒𝐿 answered. She's doing better now. I'm glad you got her out when you did. She wouldn't have held out for much longer, Recovery Girl said. Well, I'm glad I accepted without any hesitation, 𝐒𝐿 answered. What made you go in the first place? It was your first day at UA and you are immediately being asked for a dangerous mission. I get you want to become a hero, but it must have had a reason that made you want to go, Recovery Girl asked. To be completely honest, I don't know, I just felt like I had to go, and I'm glad I did. I don't think Mirio or Tamaki would have survived that situation on their own like that, 𝐒� stated as he got a serious look. I'm sorry, but it seems like you know something. You are hiding something, aren't you? I noticed this yesterday when you asked to fight All Might, but now I know for sure, she stated. I do. But I can't say anything yet. I have to confirm something for myself, 𝐒� explained. Does it have to do with the mission? She asked as he nodded. I see. If it's that serious, I want you to be careful, she said to him. I will, thank you, Recovery Girl, he answered before leaving. 𝐒� then walked towards his class and walked in just before Aizawa wanted to start. Not going to sleep? Aizawa asked. No, I'm good, 𝐒� answered. Oh yeah, what were you two doing yesterday? Kaminari asked. Yeah, 𝐒� just walked off saying you were going to ask him questions about his quirk, yet was gone for hours, Kirishima added in. Aizawa looked towards 𝐒�. Sorry, I just said it so it wouldn't raise any confusion or questions, 𝐒� answered. Wait, what? Kaminari asked. Alright, just shut up and I'll explain, Aizawa said. You did good in telling them something like that to not worry them, 𝐒�, and as I promised I'll explain it to them for you, he added. 𝐒� wasn't with 𝐒𝐻𝐻 and me last night, he was with me and 2 other people on a dangerous mission. Aizawa said. What? Everyone but Bakugo shouted. A few weeks ago one of our students was kidnapped in a villain attack somewhere. This person had been trapped there for weeks. Who this person is doesn't matter for the explanation. The thing is, I and 2 other students tried several times to save this person, but we couldn't even get close. After I learned about Izuku's power, I knew it could be the key to saving her, so I asked him yesterday after the test, and last night we were able to save the person. Aizawa explained. That's why Izuku had to leave last night. I asked him to come, he added. Wow, Izuku, that's so amazing. Uraraka said. Yeah, Izuku, you did great, man. Most of them shouted, but Izuku was lost in thought. Izuku, you there, man? Kirishima asked. Still no response. What's up? Bakugo then asked. This shocked everyone. They never knew Bakugo would ask someone if something was up, since he was so arrogant and all. They noticed that even after just one day. By the way, Izuku. Aizawa shouted, snapping him back to reality. Yes, sir. Izuku asked. Someone is here for you, he said as the door opened up, as suddenly All Might was in the opening. I am here because I heard I've got a challenger, he said, shocking everyone. You challenged All Might? They shouted. I did, Izuku said bluntly. Are you sure about this, young Izuku? All Might asked. Yes, I'm sure, and I don't want you to hold back on me either, Izuku stated. Are you overconfident in your power? Or is there a reason behind all this? All Might asked. I'm not overconfident, actually far from it. I just want to test my own power against the #1 hero, and I can only really measure my own power if you go all out, Izuku stated. Alright then, I'll accept your challenge, All Might said, almost breaking everyone's jaws from being surprised and shocked at the same time. Where do you want to fight? All Might asked. The PE grounds. It's an open place and we won't destroy anything that way, Izuku stated. Is that fine with you? Izuku asked. Fine by me, All Might answered. Before you go, grab your hero suit, Aizawa said as a wall opened up. Thank you, sir, Izuku said as he grabbed his suit. Costume Gamma, he quickly got it on and walked up the PE grounds as All Might was already standing in the middle of the field. All the teachers and students showed up. They heard someone had challenged All Might and wanted to see it with their own eyes. Izuku looked around at the crowd, and even saw Mirio and Tamaki with a smile on their faces. Next to them he saw Nejaya in a wheelchair and Recovery Girl next to her. She saw him looking as she waved at him with a beautiful smile. Izuku smiled back at her. All Might saw this as he also looked and saw it. We've got ourselves quite a crowd, All Might said. Does that bother you? Izuku asked as he suddenly got very serious. All Might was surprised by the sudden chance. Something has you on edge, doesn't it? All Might asked. Izuku only nodded. Don't hold back on me, use 100%, Izuku stated. This kid is serious about wanting to fight me at 100%, I can't let him down, and out of respect I'll use it, All Might thought. So when do we start? Izuku asked. Emissy, would you do the honor? All Might asked. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's epic fight between Izuku Midoriya and All Might will now begin. He shouted. At that moment both Izuku and All Might launched at each other as their fists clashed, creating a powerful force around them. Everyone, including All Might, was shocked that Izuku countered that punch without being sent flying. I'm just getting started, Izuku said as he pulled his fist back and tried to kick All Might in the face. All Might managed to block it with his arm but was still pushed away a little. Izuku had his back towards All Might. You're open, he said as he threw a punch towards Izuku's back, but the moment Izuku landed he quickly backflipped and pushed himself up by pushing All Might's arm as he then kicked All Might in the back of the head, making All Might fall face down on the floor. Is he actually overpowering All Might? Snipe asked. This kid, Aizawa stated. Everyone else was amazed by Izuku's power, especially Mirio, Tamaki, Nejaya, Recovery Girl and Nezu. Come on, All Might, stop holding back, Izuku stated. All Might was shocked to hear this. It's true I'm holding back, but only a little. I'm using 90%, but he is making this fight look so easy, All Might thought. I'm sorry, I had to test you for myself as I was afraid to hurt you badly, but I see now that that won't be needed and would be disrespectful. All Might said as suddenly a presence could be felt around All Might. He's finally using 100%, now let's test him, Izuku thought. All Might charged at him at full speed, but Izuku dodged by jumping away. All Might charged again as Izuku dodged again. His fast, All Might thought. 𝐒𝐿 then decided to test his speed first as he kept appearing and disappearing. To most people this didn't make sense. I understand now, 𝐼𝐻𝐼 said as Tamaki nodded. You two know what he's doing. 𝐿𝐻𝐼 added. They both nodded as they looked very serious. Try and see if you can catch up, 𝐒𝐿 said as a challenge. All Might did as he said and eventually was able to keep up. Can you keep up and attack at the same time? 𝐒𝐿 asked. This question surprised All Might. If not, then you'll never beat it, 𝐒𝐿 said silently as his eyes were now hidden behind his hair. Suddenly 𝐒𝐿 stopped moving around as All Might stood in front of him. All Might threw another punch at 𝐒𝐿, but before the punch reached 𝐒𝐿 appeared behind him. But when All Might turned around, 𝐒𝐿 was at his earlier spot but in the air as he kicked All Might in the face. He's getting serious, 𝐿𝐻𝐼 said. All Might got up and quickly charged at 𝐒𝐿 as he threw his Detroit Smash. However, 𝐒𝐿 didn't move a muscle. Suddenly a whirlwind could be seen as it was followed by an explosion and a lot of smoke. Once the smoke cleared, everyone was surprised. 𝐒𝐿 was unharmed and stopped All Might's punch with just one hand. But 𝐒𝐿 had a strange serious look in his eyes. Damn it, 𝐒𝐿 said as he gritted his teeth. He then pulled All Might's arm as he gave a powerful gut punch, then kicked him up in the air, as he then jumped after All Might, launching him back towards the ground with an overhead kick. All Might crashed into the ground. Alright kid, you win, he said. Everyone was cheering for 𝐒𝐿, but 𝐒𝐿 just sat down with his arms over his knees. It might have been a victory for 𝐒𝐿, but he isn't happy, 𝐼𝐻𝐼 stated. Why not? What's going on? 𝐿𝐻𝐼 asked. All Might got up but noticed 𝐒𝐿 was troubled. Aizawa then suddenly walked up to 𝐒𝐿. What's wrong? He asked. I wanted to confirm something and explain. But I can't, I'm sorry, 𝐒𝐿 answered as he stood up and walked away. What happened to him? She asked, concerned. I think I know, but I'm sorry I can't explain as I'm not sure about it. 𝐼𝐻𝐼 explained. Alright then, she said, a bit sad. School resumed like normal, but 𝐒𝐿 was mostly lost in thought as it worried Aizawa. He knew something was wrong and that 𝐒𝐿 was bothered by something, but he didn't know what. 𝐻𝐻𝐿 also asked Aizawa if he knew, but he didn't. But he also had an announcement. We'll be going to the USJ facility in a few days to do some disaster rescue training, Aizawa stated. And we'll be having a few people who'll help us out, Aizawa added as he looked towards 𝐒𝐿. With that look, 𝐒𝐿 already knew who was coming. After school, 𝐒𝐿 wandered around UA as he didn't know what to think. He had ignored his classmates, even Bakugo, and he was actually using his senses to avoid people as he walked, but then suddenly 𝐼𝐻𝐼 showed up from out of the ground. 𝐼𝐻𝐼, what are you doing here? 𝐒𝐿 asked. Looking for you, of course, he answered. All right. But why like this? 𝐒𝐿 asked. Because you are ignoring and avoiding everyone. If I just came like I normally would, then you would have just avoided me, 𝐼𝐻𝐼 said with a smile. Sorry, 𝐒𝐿 said, laughing nervously. I heard you'll be coming with us to the USJ, 𝐒𝐿 said. That's right, the three of us will join you on your training there, 𝐼𝐻𝐼 answered. Do you mean 𝐻𝐼 is all better? 𝐒𝐿 asked. Well, she is progressing nicely and she insisted on coming too. She's very interested in you, but she was also worried about you after your fight with All Might. 𝐼𝐻𝐼 explained. I see, I didn't mean to worry her, 𝐒𝐿 stated. And she started about the promise you made her, about hanging out with her once she healed up. She said after the USJ training she wants to speak with you, 𝐼𝐻𝐼 said. Alright, that sounds nice, 𝐒𝐿 said weakly as he walked past 𝐼𝐻𝐼. I'm sorry I've got to go now. I'll see you at the USJ, 𝐒𝐿 said as he walked towards his dorm. But once he arrived, he just went to his dorm and went to sleep. The days passed quickly and it was finally time for the USJ training. 𝐒𝐿 still hadn't changed as he was constantly thinking. His classmates started to get worried about him. Anyone else notice the difference in 𝐒𝐿 after his fight with All Might? Asui asked as everyone nodded. Everyone, including Bakugo and Todoroki, looked towards him. Alright class, we've arrived, Aizawa said as everyone then slowly walked out of the bus. Once they walked inside, the Pro 13 was waiting for them. Good morning and welcome to my facility, USJ for short. We'll be training disaster training today. All Might will also be coming, but he'll be a little bit later. We also have other guests that will help us, 13 said as suddenly 𝐼𝐻𝐼, Tamaki and 𝐻𝐼 showed up. These are you 13 started as suddenly a portal opened up at the plaza. Nobody move. Those are real villains, Aizawa said as he watched the villains walking out of the portal, until suddenly the last 3 figures walked out. Of them was covered in black mist and the person in the middle was covered in hands, but when they saw the last figure, Mirio and Tamaki suddenly gasped and took a step back, but then a gust of wind passed by them. Good day everyone, we've come to Key, the villain said as he suddenly felt a gust of wind coming from besides him as Izuku was standing just inches away from the creature. Everyone, both heroes and villains, were surprised by Izuku's action. Who might yo, the villain started as suddenly Izuku attacked the figure sending it flying. Izuku, be careful. Aizawa shouted as he jumped down together with Mirio, Tamaki and Nejiya. I see someone there. I knew someone had broken in and saved her, but who would have thought we would see her here again, the villain said. What do you want to do now, Tomura Shigaraki? The mist asked. Well, since she didn't die back there, we might as well finish the job here, Tomura said. Izuku heard this as he gave an angry glare towards him. Nomu, get back here and kill that girl over there like you were supposed to. Tomura said as the Nomu suddenly appeared in front of Nejiya. Nejiya! Mirio and Tamaki shouted at the same time. But at the moment the Nomu's attack was about to land on her, she suddenly disappeared. Once she appeared again, Izuku was holding her but looking at the Nomu. I didn't let you do it back then and I'm not about to let you do it now, so if you want to kill her then you'll have to start with me. Izuku stated in anger. Why would we do that while we could also just kill in your arms? Tomura said as the Nomu appeared again, already throwing his punch, but Izuku managed to dodge. He kept appearing and disappearing around the plaza as he kept dodging the Nomu's attacks. This way of moving, it's the same as with All Might, Aizawa thought as he watched Izuku move around. Suddenly the Nomu stopped and so did Izuku. Not bad kid, alright I'll play along with you for now, Tomura said. Get back upstairs. Izuku said silently towards Nejiya. What about you? She asked. I'll take care of that, Izuku stated. Nejiya then took a few steps back as she suddenly floated backwards towards the others. Mirio, Tamaki, Aizawa, you guys get back as well, Izuku stated. They hesitated but did as he said. Suddenly the Nomu charged at Nejiya again, but the moment the Nomu appeared in front of her in the air, Izuku had already arrived as he kicked the Nomu away, making it crash into a wall. I told you, if you want to kill anyone else you'll have to kill me first, Izuku stated in a serious tone. Nomu, get over here, Tomura said as the Nomu appeared again. Kill this little brat first, Tomura said as suddenly the Nomu appeared in front of Izuku as it already threw a punch. Izuku was sent flying towards a wall, but the moment everyone saw the impact of Izuku crashing into the wall, he had already appeared in front of the Nomu again. Insane, Kirishima stated silently. Is there really nothing we can do to help him? Nejiya asked. No, Izuku told us to pull back knowing that thing would target us to create an opening, and Izuku needs his focus on the fight, Mirio stated. A small mistake and it could be over, he added. You seem to know more about this creature, Aizawa said. You do too, Mirio said. You don't mean? Aizawa said surprised as Mirio nodded. It's the troublesome one, Mirio stated. Izuku then gave the Nomu a powerful punch to the gut, followed by a knee to the face. He then spinned around while giving a heel kick to the neck. He spinned halfway around as he then kicked the Nomu to the face, sending it flying. Tell me, what have you come here for? Izuku asked as his eyes were covered. We actually came to kill All Might. You see, this Nomu is designed to take on All Might at its 100% in his prime, Tomura stated. But now that we know the girl is here as well, I've decided to kill her as well, Tomura provoked. Izuku then appeared in front of Tomura as he almost kicked him in the face, but he didn't reach him as the Nomu got back and sended Izuku flying by giving him a punch in the gut. Izuku got back with BLD out of the corner of his mouth. Not bad, you certainly are a sturdy little brat, Tomura said. If you are here to kill All Might and Nejiya. Izuku started as he was getting serious. Then I have no choice but to go all out and defeat you all here before you can lay a finger on them, Izuku added. Let's see if you can, Tomura stated. Alright Nomu, no more holding back, kill him, Tomura said as Nomu appeared in front of Izuku as they both punched at the same time. The clash of their fists created a strong wind pressure. Suddenly the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 pulled back as he instantly gave a powerful punch to the stomach with his other arm. He then grabbed 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺's face as he threw him up in the air. He then punched 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 towards the ground, making a small crater. As he then jumped directly on top of 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 as he screamed in pain. Everyone from the school gasped after seeing this, but 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 got up again although his shirt was ripped. He had BLD on the top of his head and BLD was also coming from both corners of his mouth. "I'm not done," 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 said. "You know, maybe I was too rash with saying to kill the girl. She is quite the looker. Maybe we should let our men enjoy her for a while. They have been doing pretty good work lately and deserve a treat," 𝐶𝐿𝐼𝐺 said, trying to provoke 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺. This pushed 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 over the edge. At first he was barely standing as he was hanging a bit to the front, but after hearing that he firmly stood up and got very serious as even his body language changed. "Alright, 𝐻𝐻𝐽 finished the job," 𝐶𝐿𝐼𝐺 said as the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 threw another punch, but 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 now easily blocked it. 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 kicked the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 up and disappeared. Suddenly they saw 3 shockwaves in the air from strikes as the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 suddenly shot towards the ground as 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 also landed. "I never knew 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 was this strong," Bakugo stated. "So this is the monster side he hoped we never had to see," Aizawa said. "I once asked him what kind of monster he was if he ever went all out. He said he hoped we never had to see it. I can understand why now," Aizawa said. The 𝐻𝐻𝐽 stood up as 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 gritted his teeth. He suddenly gave a loud scream as he gave an insanely fast and powerful barrage towards the 𝐻𝐻𝐽. The 𝐻𝐻𝐽 looked as if it didn't take any damage at first, but then it was slowly being pushed back as 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 then finished by giving a loud battle cry as he finished by giving a powerful punch to the chest of the 𝐻𝐻𝐽, making it launch through the dome of the USJ as it flew far away. "My 𝐻𝐻𝐽, my dear 𝐻𝐻𝐽. What have you done to my 𝐻𝐻𝐽?" Tomura yelled angrily. 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 was heavily breathing as his arms just hung beside his body. 𝐻𝐻𝐽 was supposed to be able to take All Might in his prime at 100%, he had shock absorption as well as hyper regeneration. Tomura shouted. "Don't worry Tomura Shigaraki, this man is at his limit, he can't even move or speak, we can still take one of their strongest fighters out right here and now." The Black Mist said. "Good thinking Kurogiri, let's do it," he said as they launched at 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺. Suddenly Mirio showed up in front of him as he shot from underground. He quickly punched Tomura in the face as Kurogiri was hit by an energy blast fired by 𝐻𝐺𝐽 as they covered for 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺. Suddenly the door shot open. While 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 was fighting 𝐻𝐻𝐽, Ida managed to get outside and get the teachers. At that moment Snipe began shooting his gun towards Tomura, as Ectoplasm made copies and made them charge towards them as well. "We'll leave for today, but we'll be back," eventually Tomura said as Kurogiri surrounded him with his body as they slowly disappeared. After they disappeared 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 fell over to the ground. "𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺!" They all shouted as they ran towards him. They quickly placed him in a car and drove him back to UA to see Recovery Girl. "Put him there," Recovery Girl said as she saw 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐺 and the shape he was in. After a while, Aizawa, Mirio, Tamaki, 𝐻𝐺𝐽 and Nezu showed up. "How is he doing?" Aizawa asked. "Well, to be completely honest, if his quirk didn't enhance his whole body, then I don't think he would have survived," Recovery Girl stated bluntly. "So it's that bad?" Nezu asked as she nodded. "Why did he take that thing on all by himself?" 𝐻𝐺𝐽 asked sadly. Suddenly All Might showed up to look at how 𝐒𝐿𝐼� was doing. "I'm sorry young 𝐒𝐿𝐼�, I wasn't there when you needed my help, I'm sorry you had to fight that battle alone," he said as he stood next to 𝐒𝐿𝐼�. "I think I understand it now," Mirio said. "What do you understand?" Nezu and Aizawa asked as it also took the others their attention. Everything about 𝐒𝐿𝐼�'s behavior, he wanted to fight All Might because he had faced that 𝐻𝐻𝐽 before, that 𝐻𝐻𝐽 was keeping up with him at high speed while still being able to attack him, Mirio started. "So that's why he dodged me like that in our battle and asked me if I could attack him while he was dodging me, he was comparing me to that 𝐻𝐻𝐽 creature," All Might said. "Exactly, 𝐒𝐿𝐼� felt a few blows from that 𝐻𝐻𝐽 back then too, and also saw its speed, he must have felt a resemblance to your power and wanted to compare, but once he noticed that you were slower than the 𝐻𝐻𝐽, he figured that if it would ever come back then he would have to face it, that's why he was thinking so much," Mirio explained. "I see, so he was actually protecting us all," All Might said. "They said they came to kill All Might, and seeing how strong and fast that 𝐻𝐻𝐽 was when I compare the two fights 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU fought, it seems it wasn't a bluff, Tamaki stated. So they really were able to kill All Might, if he fought the 𝐻𝐻𝐽, Nezu said. Still, that was way too reckless, 𝐻𝐻𝐽 stated. If he didn't fight that thing head-on like that, not only All Might would have been killed by that thing, but we all would have been killed, Aizawa stated. I know it was reckless, but 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU was our only hope for surviving, Aizawa added. 𝐻𝐻𝐽 walked towards him as she went through his hair with her hand. That's twice now that you saved me, you better rest up and recover because I still want to hang out with you and talk a lot with you. You promised me we would do that once I recovered. Well, I recovered, but now you got hurt protecting me. I'd wish I could have helped you back there, she said as she looked at him. Suddenly he opened his eyes, but she kept going through his hair with her hand. Man, that really hurt, was the first thing he said when he opened his eyes. Good to see you are doing well, Aizawa said as he walked up to him. Well, I'm not sure how though, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU stated. I felt like I was hit by a tank, especially after that jump on top of me, he said as he suddenly sat up but then groaned in pain. I healed you with my quirk, your wounds should have healed now, but you'll feel the pain for a while. For now just take it easy, Recovery Girl explained. Thank you, Recovery Girl, he said with a weak smile as he sat at the edge of the bed as he then noticed 𝐻𝐻𝐽 sitting very close to him. She had taken her hand out of his hair when he sat up. She then suddenly got up and hugged him. Were you that worried about someone you don't even know? 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU asked, surprised. You saved my life twice now, and I don't know why, but I just get a strange feeling around you, so shut up and let me hug you, she said as she started blushing. 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU felt good because of the hug as he accepted it and hugged her back while he closed his eyes with a smile. How are you guys doing anyways? Nobody hurt? 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU then asked. Could you for once think about yourself? Tamaki asked, making them laugh. So what happened? 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU asked. I remember punching that 𝐻𝐻𝐽 out, but that was all, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU explained. Tomura and Kurogiri charged at you, but Mirio and 𝐻𝐻𝐽 covered you, Aizawa said. I see, so you guys saved me then, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU said. Well, only after you saved us from that 𝐻𝐻𝐽, we noticed you weren't able to move, so we acted quickly to protect you. Honestly, you are the only one with such monstrous strength to pull something like that off, Mirio said. Thanks, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU said. Well, thanks anyways for saving me back there, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU stated. No worries, man, we got your back, Mirio stated. Suddenly 𝐻𝐻𝐽 tightened her grip. Are you alright, 𝐻𝐻𝐽? 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU asked. I don't know, I feel so strange around you. Even when you saved me I felt so calm and good when you held me close. Even now, I was also happy to hear you checked up on me this morning before class. I can't help but think about you every time. And then that fight earlier, it hurt so much thinking about you losing, she said. I'm sorry for worrying you, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU said. Yeah, you really did, she said. But that's alright, you're still alive, and you saved everyone, so I want to thank you, she said. She then suddenly kissed him on the cheek. 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU was surprised. What was that about, he asked as he blushed. Well, it's as a thanks for saving me twice, and I just felt like it, she answered with an innocent smile. Well, thank you, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU said as he was blushing madly. Everyone else smiled at them. 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU, about that 𝐻𝐻𝐽, it was stronger than All Might, wasn't it? Mirio asked. 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU just stared for a bit then looked down. Yes, he said silently. When I first encountered it, it felt similar to seeing All Might in action, so I just had to see for myself how strong and fast All Might was. I had to know if he could take that thing, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU stated. I wouldn't stand a chance, right? All Might asked. Well, normally, if you'd pushed yourself to the limit you might have had a small chance, but he had shock absorb, as well as hyper regeneration. The way he was right now he could have slaughtered everyone, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU explained. Knowing that you still took it head on, Aizawa said. I figured, if anyone had a chance then it would have been me. If I couldn't then we would have been dead anyways, so it was worth a shot, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU said as he smiled nervously. So you were gambling? Aizawa asked, surprised. Kind of, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU stated. Luckily it paid off, but he did get some solid heads in. It still hurts, 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU said as a shock of pain ran through him. Well, we're all glad you made it, Recovery Girl said. 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU gave her a big smile. So 𝐻𝐻𝐽, didn't you want to know more about me and my quirk? 𝐒𝐿𝐼ZOOKU asked. Oh yes I did, but didn't you want to talk about that when we hang out? 𝐻𝐻𝐽 asked. I don't mind, I think I can handle an hour outside. I could tell you more now, we can still hang out some other time anyways, 𝐒𝐿 explained. Well sure, that would be nice, 𝐒𝐻𝐼a said. Is it alright if we come too? 𝐼𝐻𝐼o asked. Well, I'll leave that up to 𝐒𝐻𝐼a, 𝐒𝐿 said as he saw her thinking. Alright, but hanging out is just the two of us, she stated as she then gave a blinding smile. 𝐒𝐿, I will allow you to go outside for now, but if you feel weak or dizzy then I want you to get back here, and I want you to stay here for the night as well, recovery girl said before 𝐒𝐿 got up. Alright, I understand, 𝐒𝐿 said as he stood up and slowly walked towards the door. They walked towards the park and sat at a picnic table. 𝐼𝐻𝐼o decided to grab some drinks for them and would be back later, but after a couple of minutes he already returned. Thanks for the drink, 𝐼𝐻𝐼o, 𝐒𝐿 said. No problem. Enjoy, he said with a smile. So, 𝐒𝐿, about you and your quirk, how did you notice what it was? 𝐼𝐻𝐼o asked. Well, before I knew about it, I found out that I was understanding a lot more than others my age could. I was also faster, and also a bit stronger. I felt a few years ahead, 𝐒𝐿 explained. The doctor eventually said my quirk was enhanced, but for unknown reasons they couldn't find out what it enhanced. I quickly figured out it enhances everything, 𝐒𝐿 said. So how did you find my door in those dark halls? And how did you see me in that dark room? How did you know that I was so weak at the time? 𝐒𝐻𝐼a asked curiously but with a soft smile on her face as she watched him. Well, my quirk also enhances my senses. For my body, I had to train years to gain this speed and power, but I won't lose it that easily. I figured that I should also be able to train my senses, and so I tried to do that, and eventually learned how to sense my surroundings. If my eyes are open I can just feel it, but in the dark it's like seeing glowing figures, and I only realized this when I was about to rescue you. But if my eyes are closed it's like a map where I can see all the objects. People, animals, just everything, 𝐒𝐿 said. Really? That's amazing, she stated. But that power isn't any ordinary power you got, 𝐼𝐻𝐼o said. Well, if I didn't have this quirk then I would have never been able to gain this power in the first place, same for my speed, but it's right, it's not any ordinary power, 𝐒𝐿 explained. Well, you even beated All Might with it, and managed to beat that 𝐻𝐼o thing, Tamaki said. Well, that's true, 𝐒𝐿 said as he laughed nervously. But you were kind of scary back there, 𝐒𝐻𝐼a added in. 𝐒𝐿's smile disappeared. What happened to you back there, she asked. It was my true power, 𝐒𝐿 said. I'm pretty strong as is, but my true power arrives when I reach a certain state of anger, and that villain drove me to that, 𝐒𝐿 explained. When I'm in that state, I'm still able to direct it at will, and I'm still able to make sure I won't do things I shouldn't, but yes, it is quite scary, even for myself, 𝐒𝐿 explained. I have another question for you, Tamaki said. Alright, go ahead, 𝐒𝐿 said. Are you still able to improve? Or have you reached your peak? Tamaki asked. That's actually a pretty good question. I was wondering that as well. You beated All Might, and even defeated a 𝐻𝐼o which was able to fight like All Might in his prime, while also having two overpowered quirks like that, so you are incredibly strong, but I'm also wondering, can you still climb higher? 𝐼𝐼o added. Honestly, I don't know, 𝐒𝐿 answered. I figured I was already very strong so there was no need to improve, but I honestly don't know if I can improve more, and if I can how much it would be, 𝐒� explained. I see, so once you need to, you would give it a shot? 𝐼𝐼o asked. Maybe yes, 𝐒� answered. Do you have a girlfriend? Asking for a friend, Tamaki said as he looked towards 𝐒𝐻𝐼a as she began blushing madly. 𝐼𝐼o saw this and bursted in laughter. No, I'm on my own, 𝐒� said as he scratched his head awkwardly as he felt awkward by the question. Are you interested in 𝐻𝐻𝐼a? 𝐻𝐼a shouted as she cutted 𝐼𝐼o off. 𝐒� didn't really get the question so he just ignored it. So 𝐻𝐼a, what is your quirk? I noticed you were floating at the USJ, 𝐒� said. My quirk is Surge. I can turn my energy into power to shoot spiral blasts. They aren't that fast but can be quite powerful, she said as she put more effort in the can be quite powerful part as she looked towards 𝐼𝐼o. Someday I want to spar with the three of you, 𝐒� stated as he looked towards the sky. Well, I'll definitely take you on, 𝐼𝐼o said as Tamaki and 𝐻𝐼a nodded. Not one-on-one, you don't, I'll face all three of you at once, 𝐒� said as he gave a wide smile. Are you seriously challenging us to a 3-on-1 fight? 𝐼𝐼o asked. Of course I am, 𝐒� said. You are insane, 𝐒𝐻𝐻 said. Apart from 𝐒𝐻𝐻 we aren't anything close to All Might's power, but if we fought him 3-1 we could win, Tamaki explained. Well, show it to me once we fight. 𝐒𝐿 said, determined. As he suddenly felt a shock through his entire body, he quickly grabbed his head. Well, guess it's time to head back, 𝐒𝐻𝐻 said as he noticed it. Sorry guys, wish we could have talked more, 𝐒𝐿 said. Don't worry, this year just started and since we live in dorms we can see each other practically every day. Just make sure you heal up, then we'll talk more, 𝐒𝐻𝐻 stated. After that they walked 𝐒𝐿 back to Recovery Girl's office, as they then walked towards their own dorms. You held out longer than expected, Recovery Girl said. Yeah, I was thinking the same, but then it suddenly hurt a lot so I came back, 𝐒𝐿 answered. Well, get some rest, you'll be able to join class again by tomorrow as long as you just take a long rest and a good sleep, she explained. 𝐒𝐿 then laid down. 𝐒𝐿 noted a plate of food. Eat up, since you'll be staying here for tonight I got you something to eat. If you need me I'll be in my room, Recovery Girl said as she walked towards her room. Thank you for the food, he said before she left. He then began eating as he was really enjoying it. I hope I can get back to school tomorrow. I hate just laying around, he thought as he slowly closed his eyes. It had already gotten quite late as it was already dark outside. A few hours later, everyone was asleep and the campus got silent. But then, a warp portal opened up in the nurse's office. Multiple figures slowly walked towards 𝐒𝐿 as they then tried injecting him with a drag to immobilize him. But the moment they wanted to inject the needle, 𝐒𝐿 disappeared from their sight. So you were awake, her voice said. I figured Tomura Shigaraki and his gang would send someone to deal with me while they had the chance now that I have been weakened. 𝐒𝐿 stated. Not too bad, but wouldn't it be better to let yourself get taken by us, instead of trying to fight us head-on? The voice then asked. I may be weakened but I'm not going down without a fight, who knows, maybe I can even get out of this situation. 𝐒𝐿 said. I doubt it, the voice said as suddenly blue flames were shot towards 𝐒𝐿 as 𝐒𝐿 quickly jumped out of the window. The blue flames then created an explosion as the nurse's office was destroyed. Why isn't the alarm going off? Normally if there are intruders the alarm would go off immediately. 𝐒𝐿 thought as the villains then showed up. There were 4 of them, as one was Kurogiri from the USJ attack, the others were DABI and Compress, and a gas user. Don't think you'll get away from us that easily, Darby said. 𝐒𝐿 then took a fighting stance as Darby lighted his fire up again, but once Darby was about to shoot his fire at 𝐒𝐿, he noticed he was surrounded by gas. Oh yeah, I should mention, that gas is highly flammable, Darby said before shooting his flames. Damn it! 𝐒𝐿 said as the gas caught fire and made a giant explosion around him. The villains waited to see if it did any damage, but 𝐒𝐿 suddenly jumped out of the smoke. Half of his shirt was burned away and his skin had some bruises and small cuts. Demon, that I have to make sure I dodge that combination. Not only does it amplify the flames, but it also creates an explosion doing even more damage to me, 𝐒𝐿 thought as he ran away, as suddenly in front of him opened a warp gate as blue fire shot out of it. Not bad, you were actually able to dodge it. Can you dodge this as well? 𝐒𝐿 heard from behind him, but the moment he wanted to turn around, Darby came out of the warp gate, taking 𝐒� by surprise as he then shot his flames from up close, launching 𝐒� away. 𝐒� stopped himself from shooting any further, but he then noticed more of the gas around him as fire was shot from behind him coming out of a new warp gate. 𝐒� was just in time by taking a defensive stance, but he still took a lot of damage. He was now very close to the dorms. Some of them must be able to hear those explosions. I think I'll just have to endure until backup arrives, 𝐒� thought as he was breathing. His shirt was now completely blown away. He had a lot of bruises on his body now from 2 of those strong explosions. 𝐒� then calmed himself as he watched every movement very closely. Suddenly the gas user made a small movement with his hand as he then saw gas coming towards him. Even before Darby and Kurogiri could move, 𝐒� jumped away to dodge it as Darby tried quickly to make it explode before 𝐒� got away. A lot of smoke was also gathered from the explosion as multiple gates opened around 𝐒�. Gas was coming from all of them as he was then surrounded by an enormous amount of gas. 𝐒� tried to get away, but flames lighted the gas up while 𝐒� was right in the middle of it as it also created an enormous explosion. You know, that combination is really becoming a pain, 𝐒� stated. I hope you mean that literally because we love using it like this to destroy our enemies, Darby said with a creepy grin. Suddenly some students the closest dorm showed up as their teacher also walked outside. They noticed Izuku and the villains as the teacher quickly rang the alarm. Guess we've got a deadline now, the villain said. Let's finish this then, Darby said as the gas user now for the first time used both hands to produce gas. Suddenly Izuku got surrounded by multiple warp gates that produced gas. SHT, he said before it exploded. The explosion created a lot of smoke, but suddenly Izuku flew towards the sky outside the smoke as his body was launched by the force. Right as Izuku's body flew up, Aizawa and some of Class 1A showed up together with Nezu and the 3 years. Izuku. His classmates as well as Aizawa and Mirio, Tamaki and Nejaya shouted at the same time. Izuku's body then fell to the ground. A few moments later Izuku groaned in pain as he struggled to get up. Still going to fight? Darby asked. I told you I wouldn't. Go down. Without a fight. Izuku breathed as he was barely able to stand. Izuku then mustered his strength and charged at the gas user, but once he sended the gas user flying he quickly had to dodge because Darby shot a cannon of flames at him from up close which he barely dodged. I think it's time for me to make a move, Compress said as he held a ball. He threw it towards Izuku so he quickly jumped away, but then the ball lighted up as he undid his quirk on it as then another cannon of flames shot out of it at close range giving Izuku yet another heavy hit. Izuku was now down on his knees. His friends wanted to help him when suddenly a warp gate appeared in front of Nejaya. Another of those small ball was coming through it as it lighted up, but the moment it opened up, Izuku quickly jumped in front of Nejaya with the last of his strength as he was again hit by a strong cannon of fire. Izuku limply flew through the air, but instead of falling on the ground, he was launched through a warp gate. Well, that takes care of that, although he did take one of us out, Compress said as he wondered where the gas user could be. Oh well, we've got him now, it's time to get back, Darby said as a warp gate appeared. What have you done to Izuku? Nejaya shouted in panic and anger. I don't know yet, we'll see once we get back, maybe he's unconscious or maybe he's dead. Either way death will await him soon anyways, Darby said before leaving. No way, she said silently as she began crying. Even Aizawa was shocked that Izuku was beaten like that. Izuku, his classmates and friends shouted at the same time. None of them could believe that the villains actually beated Izuku and that he was taken away like that. Even in such a state, knowing it would take you down, you still protected me, Nejaya said as she fell to her knees crying. We have to get him back as quickly as possible. Mirio said. I'm in, Tamaki said. Me too. Bakugo, Kirishima, Nejaya, Uraraka, and Ida said. Hold up guys, we don't even know where he is, but All Might might know someone who knows where they could be holding Izuku, Aizawa said. He'll be back in a few hours, so please just wait until then. I'll also join in on the rescue mission, but we have to ask All Might and his friend, Aizawa explained. We'll save you, Izuku. Nejaya thought. Mirio, Tamaki and Nejaya together with Aizawa and some of Class 1A were making plans to go save Izuku. They didn't know where he was yet, but they were planning on asking All Might if his friend had any leads on where they could be hiding. Plus meanwhile at Izuku. He was tied towards a chair, he was covered in a lot of bruises and cuts as he was unconscious for a while. Now, he was slowly waking up. Where am I? He asked as he looked around. He noticed he was tied to a chair but his body hurt a lot from all the damage he sustained. Oh yeah, I was knocked out by attacks. Izuku said silently. Suddenly the door opened up. I see you are awake, Tomura said as he walked in. I hope my comrades weren't too rough with you, Tomura said. Nay, that Nomyu creature was rougher, Izuku joked. Glad to hear that, otherwise the Nomyu would have been a failure, still you beated it. Your power is quite interesting. Tomura said. Thanks, I hear that a lot, he said. What would you think of joining the League of Villains? Tomura asked. Joining you? Now why would I do that? I'm aiming to become the greatest hero, so why should I have to team up while I'm obviously much stronger than you guys, as you needed to attack me with 4 people when I was weakened, Izuku stated. You have a point, maybe this can motivate you. Tomura said as he turned on the TV. It showed a live stream from a camera, but Izuku was shocked when he noticed who he was watching. Mom, he said silently. You see, after we noticed you, we looked for a way to motivate you to become one of us. Tomura said. Let her go. Izuku said silently but full of rage. I see I touched a nerve there, Tomura said amused. So what's your answer? Tomura asked. Never, he said as he looked at Tomura with hate. Alright then, I'll hope you enjoy the show then, Tomura said as he walked out. The show? Izuku asked himself in his head as he saw Tomura a while later walking at the livestream. Leave my mother alone. Izuku shouted but no one heard him. Tomura looked towards the camera and waved towards Izuku before he walked towards Inko. He noticed his mother talking as her face then turned in fear as Tomura reached her. Izuku saw her screaming as Tomura grabbed her arm. Let her go. Izuku shouted again, but then he saw his mother's arm falling off as it then crumbled away. Suddenly it spread towards her face as she eventually crumbled away. No way! Mom! Izuku said, crying as he saw it, when suddenly something in him snapped. Izuku was filled with rage as tried breaking free. After a while he got up as he then jumped back with a lot of force, breaking the chair and freed himself. Izuku then broke the door down as some villains charged right at him. But out of nowhere Izuku suddenly appeared in front of one of them as he punched the villain in the face, launching him through the entire hallway. He then heel-kicked the other one into the wall. Izuku then walked through the hall. His face had turned serious but he didn't make any sound. He didn't know where he was, but he knew two things certain: he would escape and he would get them for killing his mom. But if he acted out of range for his mother, he wouldn't be any different than them. A hero doesn't attack someone out of a personal matter, only to save others. Izuku was using his anger to stop the pain as well as a way to escape. Suddenly Darby ran towards him as he heard the crashes from the other villains. Darby shot his flames at him, but Izuku easily deflected it by punching the flames back towards him. Once Darby saw this, he quickly cancelled his earlier flames out with new flames, creating an explosion. This time it didn't stay at an explosion as the building had caught fire and was now burning. You didn't have anything near this power earlier, were you holding back on me? Darby asked, but Izuku didn't respond. Darby charged his flame, but Izuku suddenly showed up as he punched it, creating another explosion. Kurogiri then showed up as he had heard the two explosions. But at the moment that he arrived, Izuku gave a barrage of punches to Darby, knocking him out. Kurogiri quickly warped Darby away as 6 new portals appeared around him. Passing through them were the 6 Nomus he had faced earlier when he saved Nejaya. The Nomus had surrounded him as they then charged at him. Izuku had evaded 2 from the front as he pushed their fists away, as he then sidestepped someone from the back, then kicked 2 away from his left side but was hit by the last Nomu. Once he punched that one away, another Nomu punched Izuku. After that, every time Izuku dealt a hit on a Nomu, another Nomu dealt a blow on him until Izuku had enough of them. Izuku grabbed one of the Nomu's heads as he then forcefully punched it through the floor. He then elbowed another Nomu as he then kicked it to the gut, kicking it through the roof. Only 4 remained. Of them charged at Izuku. He made the Nomu pass him as he then gave a heavy knee hit to the gut, followed by an elbow to the back of the head, knocking it out. Suddenly 2 of them charged from the sides. Izuku grabbed their arms and smashed their heads against each other's. He then kicked them away through a wall. The last one charged as well as he threw that one in the air. He then jumped after it as he kicked it in the gut towards the ground, as he then quickly followed it again, giving a punch to the chest, destroying the Nomu. After that, Izuku walked through the building trying to find a way out as he was too sessed to be able to sense his surroundings properly. Izuku then noticed 3 figures. All of them were holding sorts of swords. Suddenly they noticed Izuku. "What are you doing out of your room?" one of them asked, but he gave no response. "Don't you know who we are?" someone else shouted, still no response. "Fine, I'll tell you so you know to show some respect. My name is Spinner, and those other 2 are the villain going by the name Grim Reaper and the hero Killer Stain." Spinner explained. Suddenly the Grim Reaper held a death scythe around Izuku's neck. "If you want to live, then get on your knees. If you wish to die, then move," the Grim Reaper said as Izuku suddenly charged at him, but Spinner blocked him with his sword. The Grim Reaper then attacked as he tried slashing Izuku. Izuku managed to dodge every slash but noticed that the Grim Reaper was very fast. Izuku's body was pretty beat up, and even with his serious state, his body wasn't going to be able to hold on that much longer. The Grim Reaper then attacked again with the death scythe as Izuku quickly closed the distance as he punched the Grim Reaper in the gut, launching him towards Spinner as the both were sent flying. That only leaves you left, Izuku breathed as he lost his serious state. Meanwhile at UA, Aizawa had asked All Might's help. We need to find Izuku. He's been kidnapped by the villains. We arrived when he was fighting them, but we were too late to help him. Please All Might, can't your friend help us? Aizawa asked. All Might was shocked to see Aizawa asking him for help, as he always thought Aizawa despised him. Alright, let's go to the police station and ask if he can help us in any way, All Might said. Aizawa then gathered Mirio, Tamaki, Nejiya, Bakugo Kirishima, Uraraka, and Ida. As they walked towards the police station. When they got close to the station, they heard some explosions in the distance. What was that? Uraraka asked. Probably a villain in a fight with some pros, Aizawa said. We don't have time for that. We have to get Izuku before anything happens, Aizawa stated as they walked into the police station. They were waiting for Izuku's friend but saw a small TV on. A helicopter was filming a large warehouse, almost like an abandoned mall. Suddenly explosions could be seen from the inside. Did I see that right just now? Tamaki asked as he also watched. What did you see? Mirio asked. I don't know for sure, I'd have to see it again to be sure, Tamaki said. Wait, I know where that is. Bakugo stated as he too started watching. The scene stayed silent for a moment until a black figure was sent flying and almost reached the helicopter. At that moment Mirio, Tamaki and Bakugo ran outside as they forgot to explain to the others where they went. Nejiya however noticed them running off as she went to get the others. After that they all quickly followed them. At Izuku. You did pretty well, kid. Many people are too scared to get closer to the Grim Reaper, so no one notices he is defenseless once you get in close. However, I don't have such a weakness, Stain said. I figured as much. You look the most dangerous one around here, Izuku breathed. It's because I am, Stain answered as he charged towards Izuku with his sword, as Izuku was just barely able to dodge the sword. His fast, one wrong move and I'm dead, he thought. You've got some nice reflexes even while being exhausted, Stain said. Well thanks, after saving my class from a Nomyu attack, and then my friend from a sneak attack to the face, it takes pretty much everything out of you, especially if you get captured and be forced to fight your way out, Izuku explained. Not many people could keep that up, so you deserve praise for that. Sadly I'm ordered to kill you if I would notice you escape, and even though it goes against me to kill a real hero, I have to obey my orders, Stain said. No chance you can overlook it this once? Izuku asked. Sorry kid, I wish I could but I can't, he said with an evil grin. Well, it was worth a shot, Izuku said as he took a deep breath and regained his composure as he closed his eyes. Stain tried taking advantage of it, but not that Izuku had regained his composure. He could sense his surroundings again, so he easily dodged it. Stain quickly charged at Izuku as he threw a few more knives at him, but Izuku dodged them all. But Stain got closer and closer. Stain tried to slash as Izuku dodged it, but instead of actually slashing, Stain managed to throw an hidden dagger. Izuku backed off at the last second as it grazed his cheek. Stain quickly charged again as Izuku opened his eyes. Back OFF! Izuku shouted as he kicked Stain to the gut, but at the same time Stain managed to slash Izuku's left arm, making Izuku unable to move his arm. Din, that hurts, Izuku said as he fell to his knees breathing. You got further than I had first would have thought possible. No matter, we still have some backup ready, Kurogiri said as suddenly 3 portals opened up. Suddenly 3 Nomus walked out, but Izuku noticed they were way different from the earlier Nomus, as those were actually using their quirks. As one of the Nomus made weapons appear from his body, the second had his arms covered in flames and the 3th had lightning surrounding him. So is this all you have for now? Or are there more surprises coming if I manage to get through this? Izuku asked. Well, they could push you when you are at your best, but seeing the state you are in, I doubt you get past them, so there is no reason to tell you, Kurogiri explained. I see, so I'm already being seen as a dead man here, Izuku said as he sighed and got up. Well, let's get this over with then, Izuku said as he took a stance while his left arm hung beside his body limply. My body is getting heavier by the moment, and I can't use my left arm. I really could use a rest, but it doesn't seem like that will be possible, Izuku thought. Suddenly the Nomu with the weapons charged first as he tried cutting Izuku with a chainsaw. Izuku quickly kicked the arm away before the chainsaw reached him, and while spinning he kicked the Nomu away with his other leg. Then the Nomu with fire arms hammered down with his arm. 𝐒𝐿 managed to block it with his right arm, but this left him open as the lightning 𝐿 gave a powerful punch to the chest, sending 𝐒𝐿 flying. 𝐒𝐿 tried to regain his composure as the lightning 𝐿 caught up with him. The lightning 𝐿 tried striking again, but this time 𝐒𝐿 blocked it with his arm. Then the 𝐿 disappeared as it appeared behind him. 𝐒𝐿 jumped up as he tried to kick the lightning 𝐿, but he dodged, then kicked 𝐒𝐿 in the jaw, sending him up in the air as the fire 𝐿 jumped towards him and hammered him to the ground. 𝐒𝐿 crashed into the ground as it created a small crater. 𝐒𝐿 coughed some blood as it also started to flow from his head. 𝐒𝐿 was already roughed up pretty badly as he had a big cut on his arm, and he had blood flowing from his head. His right arm was burned by a mixture of flames and lightning, and his body was full of bruises and cuts. 𝐒𝐿 struggled to get up. "I'm still standing," he breathed. Suddenly the two 𝐿 stood next to each other. "No way," 𝐒𝐿 said in shock. Suddenly both 𝐿 used long-distance attacks as their fire and lightning joined together and charged at 𝐒𝐿. 𝐒𝐿 wanted to dodge, but instead he fell to his knees. Just as the moves were about to crash into 𝐒𝐿, two moves suddenly shot past him which stopped the combined attack, but the explosion made 𝐒𝐿 shoot away, as he then fell on the ground. The lightning 𝐿 quickly charged at him again, but this time Kirishima suddenly showed up as he hardened his body and blocked the blow. Bakugo then appeared as well as he shot the 𝐿 in the face with an explosion. "You guys," 𝐒𝐿 managed to say as he was on the verge of passing out. 𝐒𝐿's body was at its limit from the 𝐒𝐿 incident, then captured by villains as they took him out. After that 𝐒𝐿 had fought a lot of battles while being exhausted. Right now 𝐒𝐿 was already way past his limit, but he also lost a lot of blood, and right now he couldn't even move a muscle anymore. "Just take a rest 𝐒𝐿, let us save you this time," Uraraka said as she showed up. 𝐒𝐿 tried looking at her, but he could only barely see anything and he couldn't move his head. "My God," Aizawa said as he saw 𝐒𝐿. "He's in terrible shape," he said as he saw him. "We'll have to get him to a hospital to give him treatment until he is out of danger, then we'll have to take him to UA and goad him," All Might explained. "Uraraka, Ida, Kirishima, take 𝐒𝐿 to a hospital. We'll hold them off until you are safe," Aizawa ordered. "No, I can't leave you guys," 𝐒𝐿 said. "𝐒𝐿, please rest, we'll handle this, make sure you heal up," Nejiya said as she grabbed him and pulled him close as hugged him. She then let go of him. "Get him to a hospital quick," she said as she joined the fight as well. Uraraka used her quirk to make him weightless as Kirishima pulled him on his back as they quickly ran to a hospital. Once they arrived, the doctor quickly rushed towards him as they were shocked to see the state he was in. "My God, what happened to him?" a doctor asked. "Too much to explain right now, we need him to get emergency treatment to get him out of danger. Afterwards we have to move him to UA's nurse's office where we can treat the rest of his wounds and goad him," Kirishima quickly said. "All right, I get it," the doctor said. "What do you know about his wounds so far?" the doctor asked. "We know his body is at its limit and that he has lost a lot of blood," Uraraka said as she ran after the doctors. Honestly, hearing that and seeing him, any normal person would have been dead already. "He really is strong," the doctor said as he looked at 𝐒�. "All right, you guys wait here, we'll give him a blood transfusion as well as stitch his wounds. Once we're done we'll bring him to a temporary room where you can wait with him," the doctor explained as he walked into a room with some other doctors and 𝐒�. After a while the doctor walked out. "All right, follow me, I'll bring you to his room," the doctor said as he quickly walked off. After a few minutes they reached his room as they saw him laying in bed. His arms were covered in bandages, the blood on his head had stopped and he had a blood transfusion. The good news is, we're almost done with the blood transfusion. The bad news, he won't be able to move for a while. His body was pushed way past its limit, he fought through a lot of pain to keep on fighting, he now just needs a lot of rest, the doctor explained. After a while Aizawa and the others arrived breathing. "How is he?" Aizawa immediately asked. His arm sot done with his blood transfusion, but he fought through a lot of pain as his body was way past its limit, Kirishima explained in a sad tone. "He fought till near death against a 𝐿, he wasn't even able to stay up for half a day but was still forced to fight villains until he was knocked out, and after that he fought through who knows what to stay alive and to get out," Nejiya said as she sat beside him. The doctor walked in and explained that 𝐒𝐿𝐷 was done with the BLD transfusion, as he took it off of 𝐒𝐿𝐷. After a while 𝐒𝐿𝐷 woke up. "𝐒𝐿𝐷, how are you feeling?" 𝐒𝐠 said as 𝐒𝐿𝐷 looked at her, but instead of responding he tried getting up. "No. 𝐒𝐿𝐷, you have to rest," she said worriedly. "I don't have time to rest yet," 𝐒𝐿𝐷 said as he got out of bed but fell down. "𝐒𝐿𝐷, take it easy, you shouldn't be able to move yet. Your body is way past its limit," Kirishima said as he helped him up. "I fought through hell with this exhausted body, it just needs to bring me somewhere then it can rest," 𝐒𝐿𝐷 stated, which shocked everyone. 𝐒𝐿𝐷 then got up again as he was clearly in pain. 𝐒𝐿𝐷 then walked towards the door as he then almost fell towards the wall but managed to stay up. Then 𝐈𝐳𝐽 stood in front of him. "𝐒𝐿𝐷, rest up," 𝐈𝐳𝐽 said as All Might joined him. "I'm with 𝐈𝐳𝐽 with this one, we can't let you out like this," All Might said. "Well, if you won't let me go then I'll just force my way through," 𝐒𝐿𝐷 said as his eyes got very serious as suddenly a gust of air passed between 𝐈𝐳𝐽 and All Might's heads. Suddenly 𝐒𝐿𝐷 disappeared from their sights, they quickly turned around and saw him run towards the exit. "How is he doing this with that exhausted body of his?" 𝐈𝐳𝐽 asked as he ran after 𝐒𝐿𝐷. Everyone quickly joined. "Does anyone even know where he's going?" All Might asked. "Well, I have never seen 𝐒𝐿𝐷 like this, I don't know why, but seeing as he's pushing himself like this after what he explains as hell, I have to think something happened. I have one place I can think of where he's going," Bakugo explained. "Where would that be?" Mirio asked. "His home," Bakugo answered shortly as he took the lead. They got on the street but didn't see 𝐒𝐿𝐷. Bakugo then ran towards 𝐒𝐿𝐷's home as everyone followed him, eventually they were getting close. "𝐒𝐽𝐽, fly up and see if you can spot 𝐒𝐿𝐷," Bakugo said. 𝐒𝐽𝐽 then flew up as she indeed saw 𝐒𝐿𝐷 running not too far from them. "I see him. He's just up ahead and there isn't much distance between us and him," she shouted towards them as she flew towards 𝐒𝐿𝐷. 𝐒𝐽𝐽 tried to grab 𝐒𝐿𝐷 but 𝐒𝐿𝐷 was sensing his surroundings, knowing they would follow him, so he quickly jumped to a side to avoid her. He then neared the flat where he had lived with his mom. 𝐒𝐿𝐷 then quickly jumped up to the 3rd floor. As everyone saw him to it, they saw him run towards a door which was already open. "Estill, like I thought something happened," Bakugo explained as he saw the door already open. They quickly ran upstairs as they then reached the apartment. 𝐒𝐿𝐷 was standing inside but just in front of the door as he looked in shock towards the living room. It was a mess as most things were destroyed or thrown over. Mom, where are you?" 𝐒𝐿𝐷 shouted as he then searched every room. All that was left was her bedroom. "Please be here," he thought, but once it busted open, she wasn't there. 𝐒𝐿𝐷, will you calm down?" 𝐒𝐽𝐽 said as she quickly placed her arms around him to hold him from running around. "No way," 𝐒𝐿𝐷 said with unbelief as he started tearing up. "It can't be," he added in before he fell to his knees. 𝐒𝐽𝐽 also kneeled down but kept holding him. "𝐒𝐿𝐷, what's wrong?" 𝐒𝐽𝐽 asked, worried. "Got him, it," he shouted as he began screaming and punching the floor as he almost broke through it. Mirio and Kirishima quickly ran towards him to grab his arms. "Just what in the world happened to you?" Uraraka asked as she saw him like that. "𝐒𝐿𝐷, why did you come here? Where is Aunt 𝐿𝐴?" Bakugo asked calmly. "She's dead," 𝐒𝐿𝐷 said silently. "What did you just say?" Bakugo asked, shocked in disbelief. "She's dead, damn it," he shouted as he started crying. No one had saw 𝐒𝐿𝐷 like that. Knowing what he had been through, they were already worried sick about him, but when they heard those words and his pain and sadness, and how he forced his body to move even when it actually couldn't, there was no way to describe how it felt. "Are you serious right now?" Bakugo asked as he also teared up. Seeing 𝐒𝐿𝐷 crying and in such a state, but now even Bakugo was tearing up, things couldn't get much worse, at least they thought. "I saw it happen. When I was held. They asked me to join the League of Villains. When I refused, Tomura walked away, and after a while I saw a screen where my mom was sitting. Tomura walked up to her and then grabbed her as suddenly her arm fell off and crumbled to dust. Eventually I saw even her face and her entire body turn to dust," 𝐒𝐿𝐷 explained. Mirio, Tamaki, 𝐒𝐽𝐽, Uraraka, Kirishima, and Ida also started to tear up when they heard this. I saw my own mother getting killed by villains, and all I could do was watch helplessly, Izuku said as he cried even more. Suddenly 𝐒𝐲, Mirio, and Kirishima felt Izuku powering up even more. As he began screaming. Suddenly Bakugo walked in front of him as he hugged Izuku while crying. Izuku's scream got silent as he had passed out. Suddenly all the students there started crying, even Aizawa and All Might felt terrible after hearing all this. He had to face a 𝐻𝐼 to kill me, fought villains that tried kidnapping him, took many explosions and fireball, saw his mother getting killed, then fought even more 𝐻𝐼s and villains. He really has been through hell. It's incredible he was still able to think, move or act without going insane, All Might explained. Come on guys, let's take Izuku to UA so he can recover, Aizawa said as All Might tried to grab Izuku to bring him back. I'll bring him, 𝐒𝐲 said as she grabbed him closer. I don't want to let go of him, so I'll take him, 𝐒𝐲 added. Let me help you make it easier, Uraraka said as she used her quirk on Izuku to make him weightless. Thanks, 𝐒𝐲 said silently as they were all still crying. They all quickly rushed back to UA and brought him to Recovery Girl as Nezu was again already there. Ah, you're back, how did it go? Nezu asked but then saw them all still crying a little as 𝐒𝐲 held Izuku close. I'll explain later, Aizawa quickly said. Just what happened? Recovery Girl asked. Sorry, not now, we just can't right now, All Might said as he had a tear in his eye as well. Is he? Nezu asked. He is alive, as far as you can call it living, Bakugo said. Suddenly 𝐒𝐲 fell to her knees as she started crying a lot now while holding Izuku. Recovery Girl, could you please heal his body? We managed to get him emergency treatment to stop his bleeding and gave him a BLD transfusion to make sure he wasn't in danger anymore, but that was all. We wanted to get him treated here so he could rest here, Aizawa said as Recovery Girl walked towards Izuku. Sorry. Have to go, All Might said as he walked out. Let's go back to our dorms as well, Ida said as he leaded Kirishima and Uraraka away. Even Bakugo allowed himself to be leaded away to the dorm. Only the big three and Aizawa was still there. Aizawa, what did Bakugo mean by that just now? Recovery Girl asked. Izuku is alive but right now, Izuku is living in hell, Aizawa stated. Dear, could you place him on the bed? Recovery Girl asked 𝐒𝐲. What do you mean he's living in hell? Nezu asked, but right as Aizawa wanted to answer. No, I won't let go of him, she said as she held him close to her as suddenly Tamaki and Mirio sat down beside her watching over Izuku. Something serious happened, I can see at least that, it makes me very worried, so please, I'd like you to explain what happened, Nezu said as he looked towards Izuku as he walked towards him and sat down in front of him. Aizawa also sat down as they were now all around Izuku. You know how Izuku fought that 𝐻𝐼 and nearly died, right? Aizawa started. Yes, I do, we all remember how bravely he fought, Nezu said proudly. Izuku was kidnapped that night, he was hit by multiple big explosions. Aizawa started off as this surprised Nezu. Well, I remember those explosions, my office was destroyed. Luckily Cementos repaired it for me, Recovery Girl stated. Izuku also took a surprise blow that was sent towards 𝐒𝐲 after that he. Aizawa stopped there for a second as he placed his fingers on his closed eyes. What happened there? Nezu asked worried. He was forced to look at a screen where he could see a live feed of how his mother was killed by the villains, Aizawa answered, making Nezu and Recovery Girl gasp. After that he fought numerous battles and villains to escape and stay alive. We arrived just on time as there was a combined attack launched towards Izuku. We saw him falling to his knees and managed to get him out of there, but after we caught up with him again, he broke away from us and ran towards his home where he noticed that it wasn't a deception from the villains, his mom wasn't there and the home was wrecked, broken things were everywhere, the front door was still open but the house was empty, no one was there. It was then that Izuku noticed that she was really gone, Aizawa explained. Everyone then looked towards Izuku, but their eyes also went up towards 𝐒𝐲. Her arms held Izuku tightly towards her as the back of his head rested on her chest and her head rested on his while she was crying a lot. I see, I can understand Bakugo's explanation now, and I can understand the pain everyone is feeling now, Nezu said as he had a face mixtured of the emotions, anger, sadness, frustration but mostly disbelief. Normally, I would ask for my patient to lay down on a bed and everyone else to leave, but for this time I'll make an exception. If you want to hold him like that then it's fine and you can stay as long as you want, recovery girl said towards 𝐒𝐲𝐻 as she said that last part to everyone. Suddenly 𝐒𝐲𝐻 spoke up. I'll stay by his side no matter what. 𝐒𝐲𝐻 was still in the nurse office holding Izuku. She did decide to sit on the bed while holding him because she thought he would get cold on the ground. Izuku, please wake up. I need you, she silently said as she was all alone with him. Izuku had been out for 3 days already. It was already evening. All his classmates as well as Mirio and Tamaki came check on him every day. They were getting more worried each day that he hadn't woken up yet, as well as seeing how sad 𝐒𝐲𝐻 was. 𝐒𝐲𝐻 woke up in the middle of the night by movement. Izuku was groaning and moving around while still out. She hugged him tightly and tried to comfort him as Izuku stopped after a while. He was completely still again. 𝐒𝐲𝐻 was worried about him, but she was also very tired, so she fell asleep. The next morning, 𝐒𝐲𝐻 woke up again, but this time from the feeling that someone pulled away from her. When she opened her eyes she saw Izuku getting up to the side of the bed. Izuku, she said worriedly, but he gave no response. He walked to the door as she quickly jumped off the bed. Wait. Where are you going? She asked with tears in her eyes. Thanks for looking after me, but I don't belong here, he said as he walked out the door. At first she looked with disbelief. Did he really say he doesn't belong here? She asked herself silently. After that she was even more worried as she ran after him. When she got outside she saw Izuku walked as Mirio, Tamaki and Bakugo were nearing him. Hey Izuku, you're alright? Mirio said happily as they walked towards Izuku, but he just walked right past them. Izuku? Tamaki asked. Suddenly Bakugo pulled his shoulder and pulled him back roughly, making Izuku fall to his back. What the hell is wrong with you? Bakugo asked. That's the question I was gonna ask you. 𝐒𝐲𝐻 said in an angry tone as she walked towards him, but Bakugo ignored her. Izuku stood up as he began walking again. Bakugo pulled him back again as he then stood in front of Izuku. Don't ignore me. I asked you what your problem is, Bakugo said in an angry tone. Still no response from Izuku. Bakugo then placed his hand in front of Izuku's face, making tiny explosions. I don't belong here was all Izuku said. Mirio and Tamaki frowned, but this set Bakugo off as he shot a big explosion to Izuku's face. The hell did you just say? Bakugo asked as Izuku was still tumbling back on the ground. He then stood up like nothing happened as he began walking again. Bakugo then shot another explosion at him, making a direct hit. Just what happened to you? The old Izuku would have dodged both those explosions easily, Bakugo shouted. 𝐒𝐲𝐻 wanted to stop him, but Mirio held her back as he shook his head. What's the point of having this power? Izuku said depressed as he walked past Bakugo. Weren't you going to become the greatest hero with that power of yours? Bakugo shouted. What's the point of having this power? I can't even call myself a hero when I couldn't even use this power to save my own mother, Izuku said as he gritted his teeth. They were all surprised to hear this as they were just frozen in place when Izuku slowly walked away, leaving their sight. After a while Izuku completely left their sight. This isn't good, Mirio stated. I knew his mother's death would have an impact, but I never expected this, he added. We have to find him, Tamaki said. Yeah, we can't leave him like this, 𝐒𝐲𝐻 said. That, and just imagine what would happen if a villain attacks him now. We saw how he just took Bakugo's hits head on, Tamaki said as their eyes except for Bakugo's widened. Bakugo used his explosions to fly off towards where Izuku headed. Where is he going in a Mirio started when they heard multiple explosions as Izuku shot back towards the school of UA. They quickly rushed to Izuku as Bakugo walked towards him. The hell do you think you are going, you little as Bakugo said cessed. Izuku still didn't respond. I never told you we were done. In this state you'll die if you find yourself attacked by a villain. Bakugo then yelled at him. So? Izuku asked, which make Mirio, Tamaki and 𝐒𝐲𝐻 freeze in place. What did you just say? Bakugo shouted. So? Izuku repeated. Fine, if you want to die that badly I'll do it right here and now. Bakugo shouted as he charged at Izuku with his explosion. Bakugo shot an explosion directly at Izuku's chest as Izuku took it head-on without blocking or making any sound. This set Bakugo off as he suddenly shot high in the air. Howitzer impact. he shouted as he used his move at 𝐒𝐿𝐵, which made 𝐒𝐿𝐵 fly up high in the air. 𝐒𝐿𝐵 landed on the floor but stood up like nothing happened. Mirio and Tamaki quickly held Bakugo back as 𝐻𝐻𝐽 held 𝐒𝐿𝐵 back. "Please, stop this 𝐒𝐿𝐵," 𝐻𝐻𝐽 said in his ear as she held him back from behind him. "Say something, why don't you fight back? You pathetic weakling." Bakugo shouted. "Calm down, Bakugo," Mirio said as he held him back. "I hate that pathetic weakling. Over there." Bakugo then shouted. "Good," 𝐒𝐿𝐵 said as everyone froze. "If you hate me, that makes it easier to disappear," 𝐒𝐿𝐵 said as 𝐻𝐻𝐽 couldn't believe her ears and took a few steps back. She then wanted to grab 𝐒𝐿𝐵 but he disappeared. "Where is he?" she asked in shock. Mirio and Tamaki quickly turned around and saw that 𝐒𝐿𝐵 was gone. "Damn it," Mirio said as he quickly ran towards the principal office. "Principal Nezu!" Mirio yelled as he bursted through the door. All the teachers were there as well as they were having a meeting. "I'm sorry, but you aren't allowed to come in here at the moment," Nezu said. "It's an emergency," Mirio shouted, making everyone jump from the chairs. "What is it, Mirio?" Snipe asked. "It's 𝐒𝐿𝐵. He woke up but he said he didn't deserve to be here, and that his power was useless. He couldn't call himself a hero because he couldn't save his mother," Mirio explained. "That's not good. We were amazed that he went through all he did in one piece, but forgot the impact his mother's death could have on him," Nezu explained. "That's not all." Bakugo confronted 𝐒𝐿𝐵 on everything. He even tried doing serious damage to 𝐒𝐿𝐵 as he unleashed his special move against 𝐒𝐿𝐵, but 𝐒𝐿𝐵 he disappeared. Mirio explained as all their eyes got wide. "We have to find him immediately," Nezu stated. "In that state a villain could easily kill him," Aizawa added in. "We all have to search for him," All Might said as he walked towards the door. "Thanks for telling us, young Mirio. Will you help us search for him?" he then asked. "Of course I will. He's my friend," Mirio stated. "Show us where it happened," Nezu said as Mirio ran out while everyone followed him. Tamaki was still at the place but he was all alone. "Tamaki, where are Bakugo and 𝐻𝐻𝐽?" Mirio asked. Bakugo went back to his room, he said. 𝐻𝐻𝐽 flew off looking for 𝐒𝐿𝐵, Tamaki explained. "I see, we'll quickly have to join the search. MIC, Midnight, Vlad, you three search UA, all the others will split up to the city," Nezu said as everyone nodded and spreaded. Meanwhile 𝐻𝐻𝐽 was flying over the city looking for 𝐒𝐿𝐵. She was flying for a few minutes when she suddenly saw someone jump from a roof towards an alley. Could it be him? 𝐻𝐻𝐽 thought as she flew towards it. Once she arrived at the alleyway, she noticed a hidden passage as she quickly floated towards it. Right at the end of it she saw 2 feet sticking past a box. She slowly got closer to it as she eventually noticed that it was 𝐒𝐿𝐵. "𝐒𝐿𝐵?" she asked. He looked up but then placed his head in his arms again. "Why did you come?" he asks. "Because I'm worried about you," she said as she sat beside him. Worried about the person who can't save anyone and could only helplessly watch his mother crumble away. 𝐒𝐿𝐵 asked. "Well, you saved me, didn't you?" 𝐻𝐻𝐽 said as she placed her head on his shoulder. "I guess," he said. "Don't guess, if it wasn't for you, I would have died back there, and even after that when you were at your limit, you moved beyond those limits to protect me from harm's way. You saved my life twice. You are an amazing person. You can't save everyone but it's not your fault your mother died," 𝐻𝐻𝐽 said. "You don't know that you weren't there, she was scared, and he only killed her because I refused to join them," 𝐒𝐿𝐵 said. "You did see her die, but it wasn't a live feed like you thought," 𝐻𝐻𝐽 said as she looked sad. "What do you mean?" 𝐒𝐿𝐵 asked as he raised his head and looked at her. "You have been out for 3 days, and when you were out they found the room where you had been held, and the video where your mother was killed was still playing. It was placed on loop to show it to you as many times as it would take," 𝐻𝐻𝐽 explained. "When they examined the video closely and even did research on it, they found out she had died over a week ago," 𝐻𝐻𝐽 explained as she teared up. "So, when I was held there she was already dead?" 𝐒𝐿𝐵 asked as he teared up. "That's right," Tomura said as he walked through a warp gate, together with Darby and Magna. "She was already dead, and I hoped the video would make you join us, but sadly it didn't work. However, it will be quite easy to deal with you now," Tomura said as Darby shot his fire at him. 𝐻𝐻𝐽 quickly jumped up and used her quirk to stop the flames. Suddenly the flame stopped, but Magna appeared behind her as he held her arms back. "Let me go!" she shouted. "Now Izuku, witness, this is another life. You could have saved," Tomura said as his hand was slowly getting closer to Nejia's face. Nejia closed her eyes in fear as the hand was about to touch her, but then she felt a gust of wind. She opened her eyes as Izuku was standing in front of her. She could feel his power even from a small distance away. Darby lifted his arm to throw more fire, but the moment his arm was up, Izuku stood in front of him. "How did you?" Darby asked as Izuku punched him in the gut, sending him flying through multiple buildings. "Nejia," Izuku said. "Yes," he asked. "Bend forward," he said. Nejia immediately did without hesitation as Izuku threw a kick right over her head, kicking Magna in the face, kicking him also through buildings. Izuku quickly lifted Nejia bridal style as he jumped away. "Izuku, what are you?" she asked as they were suddenly followed by Nomus. "Are all those Nomus?" she asked in fear. Izuku landed on a parking lot as it was an open place. Izuku placed Nejia down. "Stay low to the ground," he said. She felt a lot of force coming from Izuku as suddenly a gust of wind blew at her. She covered her face from the wind, but when she opened her eyes, Izuku was still standing in place as all the Nomu suddenly fell down. "What did you do?" Nejia asked, shocked. "I took them out," Izuku stated. She counted and saw 10 of them laying on the floor. Suddenly a portal opened as more Nomu appeared together with the 3 strong ones form where he was held. "Just how many are there?" Nejia asked in fear. "Around 50, if I count the 3 big ones as well, then 53, he stated calmly. Nejia grabbed his hand in fear as he kneeled down to her. "Don't worry, none of them will reach you," Izuku comforted her. Aizawa, Snipe and Cementos reached the parking lot as they were going from roof to roof. They noticed Izuku and Nejia surrounded by Nomus as well as multiple Nomus on the ground. "We have to help them," Snipe said. "Wait a second," Aizawa said. "But Aizawa, if Izuku is still like before, then they will die," Cementos stated. "Something seems different about him," Aizawa stated. "If something happened like I think it did, then this won't be a problem." Suddenly 5 Nomus charged towards Izuku and Nejia. Izuku stood up with his back towards him. Izuku then disappeared as he appeared before the last one, giving it an elbow to the stomach. All 5 of them fell to the floor. "Incredible, I didn't even see him take the first 4 down," Snipe stated. "None of us did," Aizawa stated. "Neither did she," he added as he looked towards Nejia. "Guess he is back to his old self again," Cementos stated. "Not quite," Aizawa said as they looked confused towards him as Nezu suddenly showed up. "His different," Nezu stated. Izuku suddenly took a few steps forwards as 10 of them charged at him. Izuku jumped over the first one as he kicked that on in the floor. He jumped up again as he kicked the second in the face. He then gave an elbow to the third his face. Izuku then turned around, kicking a number 4 in the stomach, then quickly punched number 5 in the jaw. Number 6, 7 and 8 suddenly jumped on Izuku from above, but he blocked them with his arms. Number 9 and 10 attacked from the sides as he pushed the 3 above him away. He then quickly jumped around and spinned around while kicking the 2 Nomus from the sides. He then jumped towards the 3 Nomus he pushed away as punched number 6 to the ground, and as he was spinning he heel kicked number 7 as well as he then spinned more and grabbed the last Nomu's hand and pushed it through the floor as they landed. Wow, Nejia as she was barely keep up with what Izuku was doing. Izuku then suddenly disappeared as suddenly it looked like lines of wind pressure were flying everywhere, but in fact it was Izuku knocking all the other Nomu out except the last. He then appeared in front of Nejia as he kneeled down. "Are you hurt anywhere?" he asked softly. "Is that really Izuku? Normally he gets really scary when he fights like this, but now he's so gentle and soft while so strong," Nejia thought. "No, I'm fine," Nejia said as she saw the lightning Nomu appear behind Izuku. She wanted to warn him, but right as she blinked she saw Izuku already kicking it away. Izuku charged right at it as he just disappeared with his speed, but the Nomu was sent flying all over the place until he suddenly got kicked up. Izuku quickly jumped after the Nomu as he threw it down while shooting after it, kicking the back of the Nomu's head as they crashed to the ground. The crash created a crater and a lot of smoke, but when the smoke disappeared, so did Izuku as suddenly the other 2 Nomus fell next to it. Incredible, he took all those Nomus down with such ease. Is this the power he has when he gets serious? 𝐒𝐿mentos asked. This kid really is frighteningly strong. I'm glad he didn't side with the villains. Snipe added in. You can say that again, Aizawa said. Izuku suddenly shot towards Nejiya as he quickly lifted her up as he then quickly jumped next to the teachers. Grab her and get out of here, Izuku said as he disappeared again while a shockwave from a clash appeared in the sky. How did he know we were watching? Snipe asked as they looked towards the shockwave. Suddenly something crashed to the ground, creating another crater and a smoke screen. As something flew inside the smoke screen, another shockwave was created inside the smoke screen which blew the smoke away. They saw Izuku was blocking the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 from the USJ. It's that thing again, Aizawa shouted as he saw it. You know this 𝐻𝐻𝐽? Nezu asked. It's the one from the USJ incident. Izuku launched it away with incredible strength, but he was put in that state you all know when we got back, Aizawa explained. Izuku then punched the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 away as he jumped after it, kicking it to the ground. The 𝐻𝐻𝐽 got up as it tried to grab Izuku's leg as he was about to land, but Izuku managed to avoid being grabbed as he spinned and kicked the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 to the face. Izuku then landed as the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 charged at him again. Izuku just placed his hand behind the fist as he easily pushed it away while giving a knee to the side of the 𝐻𝐻𝐽. Incredible, he's easily overwhelming that 𝐻𝐻𝐽, Nejiya said amazed. Mirio and Tamaki had also arrived at the teachers now. What's going on? We heard explosions and then Tamaki started until he saw all the 𝐻𝐻𝐽s on the ground as well as Izuku fighting the big one from the USJ. Izuku kicked the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 up in the air as he then gave it a barrage of punches, but instead of making the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 land on the ground, he threw the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 towards the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 with fire. The big 𝐻𝐻𝐽 struggled in pain as Izuku held him on the fire until the 𝐻𝐻𝐽 stopped moving at all. Izuku took a deep breath as he calmed himself down as he fell on his back. Nejiya quickly flew towards him. Are you alright? Izuku asked before she could say anything. I'm alright, all thanks to you. You saved me again, Nejiya said as she lifted him up a bit then hugged him. This time Izuku accepted the hug and hugged her back. Thank you, he said. She knew he meant from back in the alley and the hug. Don't scare me like that again, she whispered in his ear while hugging. I care a lot about you even though you might not think so or notice it, but I do, she added as she held him tightly and sobbed a bit. I know you do, I really appreciate it. And I'm happy to have someone like you around, Izuku stated as she cried while blushing. Idiot, stop making me blush, she said smiling a little. Can't help it when a beautiful girl suddenly cares about me and hugs me. Who doesn't want that, Izuku joked. Well, thank your lucky stars because you are the only one lucky enough that I care about this much and hug, she stated. I'll thank them properly, he joked. Ecchi, he said as he broke away from the hug. What's wrong? Nejiya asked. It's not over, he said as. Suddenly a machine appeared. Good day, Izuku Midoriya was being heard from the machine. Who might you be? Izuku asked. Just a professor, who is looking to obtain the greatest power in the world and rule with it, the man said. So what do you want with me? Izuku asked. Nothing, just came here. To end your life. Was heard as suddenly the machine appeared in front of Izuku as he was barely able to block it as he was being pushed back. You know, I've really had it with people hungry for power and trying to take me down, Izuku said. While he was getting serious, he suddenly stopped being pushed back as he was now taking steps forwards, pushing the machine back. The machine suddenly disappeared behind Nejiya as it tried to smash her into the ground but was kicked away by Izuku. And I've had it even more with people who target people that are close to me, Izuku shouted in anger. Nejiya turned around and saw Izuku standing in front of her. The machine charged again as Izuku easily stopped it with one hand this time. What an insane power you have there, the man spoke up. When I'm protecting my friends, or when I'm protecting Nejiya, then there is no limit to how strong I'll become. I'll even gain power strong enough to destroy the world if that's needed to protect them, Izuku stated as he crushed the machine's fist in his hand. Izuku then pulled it closer as he punched through it and pulled the man out. Aizawa! Izuku shouted as he threw the man towards Aizawa to capture him. Wow, Izuku! Nejiya said as he turned around and fell on his butt. Are you alright, she asked. Yeah, he just took me by surprise with his first hit, It kind of drained me, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated. Still, what was all that power? You became so much stronger all of a sudden. She asked. It's when I get serious, I can fully control it now, and you guys asked me if I can still get stronger, right? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. We did. What about it? 𝐒𝐻𝐼 asked curiously. Well, I've never had a reason to improve before, but I do now, so I will try to climb even higher, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated. Awesome. So what's this reason of yours? 𝐒𝐻𝐼 asked. You are? I have to keep you safe, don't I? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 said with a gentle smile. What? Why me? She asked as she was madly blushing. It's because such a beautiful, kind girl cares about me and hugged me while she wouldn't do that with anyone else. And to make sure you keep that beautiful smile, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 flirted as she smiled at him while madly blushing and tears in her eyes. You idiot, I told you to stop making me blush so much, she said as she hid her face. She then suddenly leaned in and kissed him. 𝐻𝐼 kissed him. After a while they broke the kiss. Wow, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 said, blushing madly. Well, that's a thank you for saving me so many times, and I hope you also know now how I feel about you, 𝐻𝐼 said as she looked away blushing. 𝐒𝐿𝐼 smiled. I didn't know you, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 started as he jumped up in fear and looked behind him. 𝐒𝐿𝐼, what's wrong? 𝐻𝐼 asked. I don't know, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated as he sweated in fear. 𝐒𝐿𝐼 then grabbed 𝐻𝐼 again and placed her beside 𝐈𝐿𝐼. Take care of her, whatever happens don't follow me, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 stated as he quickly jumped away. After a while he reached the edge of the city. He saw a man standing while another man was on the ground. I see, so you found me, the man standing said as he looked towards 𝐒𝐿𝐼. Who are you? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 quickly asked. The man then walked away. Was that surge of energy yours? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. And what if it was, he asked. Are you a hero or a villain? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. I'm not sure yet, I haven't decided if I want to save people or bring destruction. Whatever I choose, I doubt anyone can stand up to me, the man said as he walked away. Before he was completely gone, 𝐒𝐿𝐼 managed to ask another question. This is the first time I see you here and the first time I felt such a power. Tell me what made you show yourself. 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. A bold statement from a fool. I don't know who it was, but I heard it loud and clear and it made me want to show myself, the man answered as another burst of power was released from him as he walked away. 𝐒𝐿𝐼 was frozen from the burst of power as the man then disappeared. Time skip. Next morning 𝐒𝐿𝐼 was sitting in the common area together with his classmates. Everyone was talking and having fun, but 𝐒𝐿𝐼's mind was somewhere else. Did 𝐻𝐼 really kiss me yesterday? Does she really feel that much for me? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 thought as 𝐈𝐿𝐼 suddenly walked in. He firstly looked towards 𝐒𝐿𝐼 to see how he was doing. He then spoke up. After everything that happened, I forgot to mention that we'll be holding the sports festival soon, so you better all get ready, 𝐈𝐿𝐼 stated as they all started cheering. Also, 𝐒𝐿𝐼. 𝐒𝐻𝐼 wants to speak with you, he added. Everyone was surprised, but so was 𝐒𝐿𝐼. Why does he want to see me? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 thought to himself as he walked outside towards the school. After a while 𝐒𝐿𝐼 reached the principal's office. Good morning, sir, you wanted to see me? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. Ah yes, come in 𝐒𝐿𝐼, have a seat, 𝐒𝐻𝐼 said. 𝐒𝐿𝐼 walked towards the chair, then noticed a skinny man next to 𝐒𝐻𝐼. I'm sorry 𝐒𝐿𝐼, but yesterday I overheard what you said towards that machine. You said you'd gain power to destroy the world if you had to protect your loved ones, right? 𝐻𝐻𝐼 asked. That's right, I did say that. 𝐒𝐿𝐼 answered honestly. I see, well, we need your help with something, 𝐻𝐻𝐼 said. What's it about? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. After that 𝐻𝐻𝐼 first explained about All Might and his wound he sustained which weakened him a lot. So you are actually the real form of All Might? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. Yes, I am, the skinny man said. Please keep this a secret from everyone else, All Might said as 𝐒𝐿𝐼 nodded. What is all of this to do with All Might's secret? 𝐒𝐿𝐼 asked. Well, as you know, the wound on All Might has weakened him a lot, and the time he can use his power is also getting shorter and shorter, 𝐻𝐻𝐼 explained. There is a great power still hiding in the shadows. It's neither good nor evil yet. So far he used his power whenever he pleased. All Might stated. But if that power joins the villains, then we have a big problem. because he actually has the power to destroy the world if he goes on a rampage, All Might stated. For real? 𝐒𝐿 asked, shocked. Yes, he is even stronger than you, All Might stated. How do you know? 𝐒𝐿 asked. Because I fought him once in my prime and I wasn't even able to touch him, All Might stated. 𝐒𝐿's eyes went wide. Once you feel his power for yourself, you'll know it's him, All Might said. I don't think that's necessary. Seeing 𝐒𝐿's reaction yesterday, he already met him, 𝐒𝐿 stated. So that was him. 𝐒𝐿 stated as he jumped out of his chair, sweating with fear. I see, seeing your fear, you really have met him, All Might said sadly. After I saved 𝐂𝐸𝐽, I felt an enormous amount of power. When I met up with the person responsible, he released another burst of energy. I was frozen in place from his power, 𝐒𝐿 stated. So what do you need my help with then? 𝐒𝐿 asked. After the sports festival, I'd like you to try and get him to our side, 𝐒𝐿 stated. And if he refuses or joins the villain side? 𝐒𝐿 asked nervously. I want you to try and stop him with all your might, 𝐒𝐿 stated. I won't force you, but I'm asking you, 𝐒𝐿 added. I'll do it. If we had him on our side, we would have a powerful ally against the villains. But if he doesn't, then I really have to gain the power that I said I would to defeat him, 𝐒𝐿 stated. Thank you very much, 𝐒𝐿, but please be careful, 𝐒𝐿 said as 𝐒𝐿 walked towards the door. Tell me, All Might, what can I expect from his way of fighting? And how much of a chance do I have? 𝐒𝐿 asked without turning around. I can't tell you much. I can only tell you that he can use the 4 elements wind, water, air, and fire, and he can use them at will. All Might stated. As for the chance you have, to be blunt, I would say around 5%, All Might answered. I see. I want to ask you to not tell anyone about this, 𝐒𝐿 stated as he walked away. He walked back to his dorm, but instead of sitting with everyone again, he went to his room to think. 𝐒𝐿 decided to just skip dinner and everything and stay in his room for the day. But after dinner time, someone knocked on his door. 𝐒𝐿, are you there? Mirio asked from the other side of the door. Yes, what is it? 𝐒𝐿 asked. Can I come in? Mirio asked. Sure, 𝐒𝐿 started as Mirio walked in with his quirk. His uniform and PE uniform have been made from the same things as his hero costume, so it doesn't fall off. What is it, Mirio? 𝐒𝐿 asked. Just came to check on you. I saw some of your friends and they told me you went to your room and even skipped dinner after you went to see 𝐒𝐿, so I went to ask what was going on. They insisted they couldn't tell me, but I wasn't planning on leaving without an answer, so eventually they told me, Mirio explained. I see, 𝐒� said as he looked towards the ground as he sat on the side of his bed. Mirio sat beside him. I haven't told anyone else, and I'm not planning to, but are you really alright? You were so frightened yesterday by what you felt, so I was kind of worried when I heard, Mirio stated. Honestly, I don't know. I would have the best chance of fighting him if it ever came to it, but still, 𝐒� stated. Please keep the others from knowing, especially 𝐂𝐸𝐽, 𝐒� said. You two really care about each other, don't you? Mirio asked. But 𝐒� didn't respond. I won't tell anyone. By the way, they forgot to tell you something and asked me to tell you, Mirio said as he walked towards the door. What is it? 𝐒� asked. The guy, apparently he calls himself 𝐒𝐸𝐽 of the elements, Mirio stated. Thanks for telling me, 𝐒� said as Mirio then walked out. 𝐒� just lay down afterwards and went to sleep. Tomorrow would be another day of school. The next day at school, everyone started bombarding him with questions, even 𝐂𝐸𝐽, who ran towards him before school started. Are you alright? I heard you locked yourself in your room. Why did you do that? Did you eat enough? Did something happen? 𝐂𝐸𝐽 kept asking questions. Calm down, 𝐂𝐸𝐽. I'm alright, 𝐒� said as he laughed nervously. Oh, alright, I'm sorry, I just got super curious, she said with a beautiful innocent smile. They slowly walked towards the school as she then jumped in front of 𝐒�. She turned towards him and bended forward towards him a bit. Say, you still haven't answered my feelings, you know, she said with an innocent look. Oh yeah, sorry about that, I got distracted by something I sensed back there, 𝐒� said as he nervously scratched his head. What did you sense then? She asked. Don't worry about it. As for your feelings, I understand how you feel about me, although I can't completely understand how or why you feel that way towards me though, 𝐒� stated. Well, you look good, and you are very gentle and kind. Once you set your mind to something you go for it no matter what. You are very caring, and it's just the feeling I get around you. I feel calm and warm around you. And every time you weren't around I kept thinking of you. Even when you collapsed after what happened I stayed by your side and didn't want to let go of you. Do I even have to continue any further to explain? She asked with a bright smile. No, you were very clear. I understand now, and honestly I'm glad you feel that way. I'm not sure how I should respond to it. I do know you are a very beautiful girl and you've always been there for me. Your curiosity is also very cute. You are a sweet and kind girl. And as for how I feel around you, well, that's the same as how you feel about me, Izuku said, blushing as he also nervously looked around and scratched his head. Suddenly 𝐿 got even closer as she then kissed him again. The way you get all shy like that around me is also very cute, sweet Izuku, she said before she walked off. See you later, she said as she gave him a last glance as she winked towards him. Midoriya! Kaminari and Mineta shouted as they saw what happened. They quickly charged at him. Nope, not today, Izuku said as he saw them coming. He quickly ran inside the school as he made his way towards his class. He quickly sat in his chair and hoped Aizawa would walk in any second now. Suddenly the door bursted open. Don't run from US. Give US details. What were you doing with that hottie? Mineta shouted. Shut up and get to your seats, Aizawa said as he walked in. Thank you, Aizawa, Izuku thought as he sighed. So, Izuku, you and 𝐿 Aizawa said suddenly. Not you too, Izuku said as he hid his face in his arms. After that class started, but Izuku couldn't really concentrate on his lessons. Gaia of the elements here. I wonder how he'll fight and just how strong he is. How will he use his elements? Will I be able to break through if I have to fight him? Izuku thought. Izuku? Aizawa asked as he snapped Izuku back to reality. I'm sorry, what did you say, Aizawa? Izuku asked. Nothing, just wanted to make sure you're still with us, he said. Class was over. The day after tomorrow we'll be having the sports festival, so I hope you're all ready for it, Aizawa said before he left. Izuku quickly ran out before Mineta and Kaminari were able to find him. Izuku decided he would train, so he went somewhere quiet where he knew he would definitely be alone, the beach. It was still covered with trash from everyone, so no one would get there. Izuku decided he would train by first doing some fighting training as he then cleaned the beach, but with his insane strength and speed he managed to clean it all in the same day, although he was sweating a lot. Izuku then went back to his dorm as he took a shower, grabbed some food and went to his room. Izuku then quickly fell asleep. The next day they also trained a lot in his class, all to prepare for the sports festival. Then, it was finally time for the sports festival. Izuku! He heard before he was about to enter the field with the others. Izuku turned around and saw 𝐿. He then felt a lot of jealousy from behind him as he knew it was Mineta and Kaminari. I just wanted to say I'll be rooting for you, have fun and give it your best. I'll be watching you, she said cheerful as she kissed his cheek as she then cheerfully ran back, turned around once more with a beautiful bright smile, then disappeared. Midori, shut up, diaper boy. Bakugo shouted as he threw an explosion towards Mineta to silence him. They went towards the field. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this year's sports festival. Midnight shouted. This time we'll only have 2 trials they have to face. The first will be a race. The first 16 people to arrive will pass towards the next trial. Midnight said. But in this race there will also be some obstacles and everyone is allowed to use their quirk, she added as they all walked towards the giant door. Izuku noticed that his class was getting ready and that Todoroki had a stance to freeze everyone. Ready, she shouted. She then shouted as the door opened up. Izuku disappeared from the back of the group as he then appeared in front of it and started running. War we barely started and Izuku Midoriya went from last to first in the blink of an eye. Mic shouted as he was doing the play-by-play for the race as well as the fights. Izuku then quickly ran at high speed. Suddenly the first obstacle arrived, giant 0-pointers from the entrance exam. Izuku quickly jumped up as he punched through all of them. And Izuku took care of all those robots in a single hit. Mic shouted as Izuku could hear everyone's cheers from that far away. Izuku then arrived at a sorry of canyon, as only a few ropes were there to get them past. However, Izuku quickly jumped from rope to rope at blinding speed as they only saw him appear on the next rope just to disappear again. Bakugo and Todoroki eventually caught up to him. Izuku has been going with a lot of speed, but two others joined up to him. There will be a race for the top, Amici shouted as everyone cheered loudly. They then arrived at a minefield. Izuku scanned around and knew exactly where the mines were, so he just ran over the field while Bakugo flew over it with his explosions. Incredible! Izuku is just running over the minefield like he can see the landmines. MIC shouted. Izuku and Bakugo were fighting for first place while Todoroki was hanging back a little because he couldn't see the landmines. Is that all the speed you got? Bakugo asked. No, I just wanted to give you a chance, Izuku said as he suddenly sped up. I'm not going to let you win. Bakugo shouted as he launched himself forward with even bigger explosions. Izuku then placed a lot of power in his leg as he then jumped forward towards the entrance as he quickly flew through it, followed by Bakugo. Izuku is first. Bakugo is a close second and Todoroki is 3th. There you have it, folks, the top 3 has arrived. MIC shouted as then more people ran inside. Then it was finally time for the fights. The first match, Izuku was faced with Kirishima. Are you ready? Izuku asked. No, but I have to, don't I? Kirishima said nervously. Ready, begin. Midnight shouted. Kirishima hardened himself as Izuku charged at him as he punched him back a few meters. Not bad, you actually withstood that. Izuku said, impressed. I've been training in strengthening my hardening, but man, you are strong. My arms are feeling numb, Kirishima stated. Sorry, but this is where it ends. Izuku said as charged at Kirishima again. Kirishima blocked his face with his hardened arms, but instead of throwing a punch, Izuku kicked Kirishima's legs from underneath him as he then spinned and kicked him out of bounds. Izuku wins. Midnight shouted. Everyone was cheering loudly. Izuku then helped Kirishima up as they walked towards the spectators' seats from Class 1A. After a while it was Izuku's turn again. This time he had to fight Todoroki. Don't think you'll win as easily as you did with Kirishima, Todoroki immediately said. Izuku just ignored it as Midnight told them to start. Todoroki immediately shot a glacier towards Izuku, but he countered it by giving a powerful punch to the ice which shattered it. Insane, just what kind of monster did you make him, Aizawa? That move froze someone else solid and he breaks it. MIC shouted. I didn't do.